Anti-derivative Jill.
Greetings and felicitations.
Hello, I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 80. And if you're wondering why I'm on number 80 when there's only 79 episodes of Star Trek, it's because I started my channel reviewing the Orville. So we're continuing a very special journey through all the episodes of Star Trek, the original series. And I'm excited to get into season 3 today. And it's mostly because it's my weakest season in terms of knowledge, and I'm doing all the research to make up for it. To help me today, we have Scotty R37.
Ahoy.
Hello. And Pop Culture Curator. I'm so happy you're here today.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you all.
And normally I mention Pop Culture Curator first, but I wasn't sure he was going to be here today. I'm so happy he is.
So am I. Glad to return.
Amazing, dude. I need you on this one. This is a Western, and these are some actors, and this is going to be a good episode. I can't wait.
A lot of Western actors, funny you mentioned.
Yeah.
And we've got an actor from Star Trek 5.
We do.
Oh, right. Yeah. Cool. That's really great to hear from. And also great to hear from are the people in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Stone Racket, you're just amazing soul and generous, kind person. I thank you so much for the space credit. You don't know how many, triples that'll buy me. Thank you. So,
yay! He doesn't seem to like you, Mr. Darwin. I wonder why.
And also, hello to who else is here? Franco Walker is here. Hello, Franco Walker.
Hey, Franco.
And Gorilla Kapla.
Hello, Gorilla.
And
Sci-Fi Mombi.
Hi, Sci-Fi Mombi. How are you doing today? Gorilla says this is the Wyatt Earp episode.
Yes. Wyatt Derp.
It's just the weakest sea, son of Trek all around.
This is an interesting sort of journey for me as well, Jill, just because this is the season that I sort of ignore. I don't really revisit very often. I have I have unpleasant thoughts towards it, and I don't know if it's my opinion or if it is just the opinion.
It's just been hammered into you, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if we didn't have season 3, we wouldn't have all the rest of Star Trek that follows, because this is the season that puts the show into syndication, reruns, and gets it into the zeitgeist, and everybody goes to conventions, and we get the movies, and everything that follows. And so it is very important. It's a very important season, and it's not as hopefully we'll see just how it fares. We know season 1 and 2 is going to be better, but there's something special about season 3, and we're going to find out what that is.
Yes.
And one of those things today is that when this episode was first written, it was called The Last Gunfight, and all drafts of the episode were by an author named Lee Cronin, but who was it really? It was
Gene Coon.
Yeah, it was really Gene Coon. But the funny thing is that he was in a contract with Universal for writing, so he couldn't put his name on Star Trek, and he didn't even go to the studio anymore. He didn't show up. This was all done secretly, and even the network was behind it, so they were in on it. NBC was in on the little game where it's Lee Cronin. Who's this secret writer? Lee Cronin.
So interesting. When it comes to Gene Coon, you don't get any sort of Star Trek interviews. He's not on any of the special features of the DVDs or anything like that. I don't know. Are there any real interviews, like televised interviews, video interviews of Gene Coon, or is it all sort of just relayed through text?
I don't know.
Perspective from other people, perhaps. I don't think I've ever seen any that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any either. That would be amazing if it were true. But Suzanne Eckstein is here.
Oh, Suzanne.
And also Captain Fandom Nerd. Great to see you.
Hello there.
Fandom Nerd.
And man, season 3 is going to be fun. Let's see
Mm-hmm.
what we have here. Oh, also, we're watching in production order. So I don't even know if I said the episode name yet. The episode is Spectre of a Gun.
Spectre.
Yes, in the first thumbnail I misspelled it. If anybody caught it on Twitter, it's still there. My mistake. It first aired on October 25th, 1968, which is significant because that's just one day before the 87th anniversary of the real life OK Corral event.
Well, and that was interesting because I was thinking about that, it being October currently, and they were saying October 26th, 1881. Why is that so familiar? And I was like, we should have taken a hiatus and done this one on October 26th.
And hello to the Comic Relief Crusader.
Ahoy.
Oh, Gene L. Coon passed in 1973. Man, that's why we probably didn't. That explains why we didn't get a bunch of, because by the time Star Trek became super popular and they started collecting interviews and past memorabilia, we already lost him. God.
Right, he never lived to see it become what it became, the legend.
Oh, that's so sad.
And yeah, a lot of it was because of him and due to him. So
Yes,
it's
was.
terrible.
Absolutely.
We owe so much to him, and I wish he would have stayed around long enough to see it. Dang. At least in the 90s.
I think the only picture that I've seen of Gene Coon has him sort of leaning against a typewriter with a cigarette in his hand. So I understand why he passed away in the 70s.
Yeah, that and also Rod Sterling.
Yeah, oh my stars. Bite into a red apple is what I suppose the message is.
And then we have Freiberger lurking around, not understanding Star Trek, but he does his job as producer. He's not trying to mess things up, but he's there.
Well, one of the problems was the drastic cut in budget. It was 25% across the board, which shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the budget was cut, and the amount of days they're able to shoot were cut. I heard it was
Well,
like
and surprisingly, no, this actually on Memory Alpha, and whether or not that can be taken seriously, I'm sure it's in one of your tomes. Jill.
Well, no,
but in terms of
the
filming of this episode, it was filmed over the course of 8 days. So
8 days. Okay, so they went way over schedule. But
it was
true. But if you look on Memory Alpha, if it has the actual source, the secondary source, the real source that it's from, then you can find that source and see if it corroborates with Memory Alpha. So you don't have to trust Memory Alpha. You can use it as a reference point to get to the actual book and then look at that book.
Well, I'm lazy, so I didn't do that.
But that sounds right. I think that sounds correct in terms of how long this thing's shot for.
Well, and also some people may be questioning why we're venturing into season 3 with Spectre the Gun and not going to everyone's favorite episode, Spock's Brain. And the reason for that is this is actually the first episode in production order of season 3.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. This is the first episode in production order.
Right. Sorry to disappoint all you Spock's Brains fans out there.
Well, we'll get to it. We'll get there. We will get there. And,
yes, you will.
Well, and that's another episode that Gene L. Coon had a hand in. And it's another one that we remember from season 3. So for whatever you think about it, it was memorable. The Comic Relief Crusader says, thanks for being at the con with me. He went to the convention and he was streaming it wherever he was.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like in terms of the budget cuts and the nature of this, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, Pop, is that this was going to be another on location.
Right, Roddenberry wanted it on location. A lot of them did, but unfortunately they weren't able to.
Well, in this case, it was fortunate, I think, because it looks a lot spookier now.
You mean the surreal look?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost dreamlike.
The surreal nature of it is explained by dialogue from McCoy and Spock, where McCoy says it's incomplete, and then Spock's like, well, maybe this is all they have, which adds to it. And then even more so at the very end, just before the gunfight at the corral, you have like lightning flashing and the shadows of the trees and the Earps against the sky. It adds to so much of the doom, the dread.
Right. Roddenberry wanted to shoot it in actual Tombstone on the locations where it really happened, but unfortunately, due to budget constraints, as previously mentioned, wasn't able to happen.
That would have been cool, though. Almost sort of like This Side of Paradise. Like just having the actual locations would have been really, really interesting.
So some of the things I talk about today will come from Star Trek 365, which, of course, as I always say, I learned about from Raquel Briggs, who reviews all the Star Trek from 66 to 05 at the Clobbering Times channel on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. And so far we're well into Voyager, getting ready to start season 3. And I'll also make references from These Are the Voyages by Mark Cushman, because he has some really great stuff. And so anything else I cite, I'll cite as I go along. And even though my slides go in order, of course, I don't mind if you guys go out of order, as Scotty just did. And
I do.
And it's great. And I love that.
Oh, and while we're in order, I would just like to give a big shout out to Eddie Paskey, our boy in operations.
I do appreciate when you mention that, because I don't capture that. I took pictures of my 365 book, but I forgot to add them in my notes, so they're right here. So I have to read it directly from my phone. So I'm going to do that. Here's the preview. As punishment for trespassing into Melkotian. You didn't even give me a chance, dude.
That's true. I'm sorry.
As a punishment for trespassing into Melkotian space, Kirk and 4 members of his crew are forced to participate in a surrealistic reenactment of a historical event drawn from Kirk's memory, the gunfight at the OK Corral. Unfortunately, Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Scotty, and Chekhov have been cast in the roles of the Clanton Gang, the losers, the losing side of that epic confrontation with Wyatt Earp, 2 of his brothers, and Doc Holliday, which means the Melkotians expect them to die. But when certain details of the scenario don't play out as history would have it, Spock begins to suspect that a Vulcan mind meld may be the key to their survival. And so this is cool, because you get to find out that the species is telepathic, because they are speaking in everybody's native language. And I'd like to welcome to the panel Sean Carter from the Sci-Fi Model Guy channel.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, man.
Hello, Sean. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, Pop, I'm doing good. Good to see you, too. I've been kind of absent from YouTube for a little bit.
I know you've been busy and you had a little bit of tragedy there last week, so it's understandable, sir.
Yeah, we're good.
But I do dig your constellation.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, last one will be posting in a few days.
Cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. Hi, Jill.
Yes, and I am so sorry. for your furry friend, your family's loss.
Yeah, it is tough. This is probably the toughest pet loss I've had, and it's really weird trying to analyze why.
I had a beautiful dog that looked just like her. I named Belle, and she also died of old age.
Yeah,
I adopted her from the SPCA when nobody else would. They were ready to euthanize her. And I asked, well, why? She's a cute little, chihuahua. Why wouldn't they? And they said, well, we found her. She was infested with fleas and had all these issues. And all the bills racked up, and it was $300 something. If anybody wanted to adopt her, they had to pay $300 something. And I did it. And I'm glad I did. I kept her for another 8 years, about 8 years.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she was very sweet. She looked exactly like yours.
Oh, yeah. I only had Lolita for about 3 years, but I think what hit me so hard is because she was so mistreated for so long, and she was such a sweet little dog.
I don't know, but they remember too. The dogs, when they get, PSD, I guess you could say, for dogs, they remember just like we do.
Yeah, and she was just real sweet. I guess it just tore me up because I just felt she deserved longer than she got. I gave her a good home and a cozy bed and made her food and all that stuff. But I think it just hurt because knowing that she spent so many years in distress, I wish she could have just had a little bit longer of being cozy. But
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, and sorry.
No, I'm done.
No, but I we're all in the same sort of puppy boat, and I like to think that all dogs go to heaven, and I hope that they're all playing and they're all, running and peeing. That is what dog heaven is, right? They can pee and run at the same time. And so
an unlimited field of fire hydrants.
Yeah, exactly. So I do understand, and I know it hurts, man, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, such good times. And as long as you were a good puppy parent and they enjoyed their time with you, you did well. You did well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know you did. You gave her a good life.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, we're here to talk about Star Trek.
We are here to talk about Star Trek. And specifically Spectre of the Gun, which first aired on October 25th, 1968. I keep wanting to say 26th because that's the day of the OK Corral. And so it was done purposefully, the broadcast order in that sense. And I also wanted to say, Bird of Prey, I like how Bird of Prey 5 always rates the TOS episodes as A++, but he says this one is A++, minus. I think that's just an A.
No, it's a B+.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any notes about their costumes,
Jill? No, it's an A- because if you take away 2 pluses, that's A, and then take away 1 more minus, so it's A-.
You did costumes. The math correctly. The costumes.
You know what?
Man, this is awesome.
Go for the costumes, Pop Culture Curator. Let me know what you got.
New costumes in this season. The previous seasons, they kept shrinking every time they were washed, and the union rules were they had to be washed every time they were used. So as of the third season, they're all polyester.
Previously velour.
And so for the entire season, Kirk has a shirt that fits.
Yeah, because he's always tugging on it, right? In the previous seasons, yes.
See, and even you could say that the Picard maneuver was actually originated by Captain Kirk.
One thing that I really liked about this teaser, is...
Oh, no, please.
The Makoshians had an element that I wish made it into the episode, but the network just didn't like it. But it was amazing. What Gino Kun came up with. I really wish it was in here because it would have elevated the episode for me. So in the original story, the Makoshians, they were called something else. The Orcat, they changed the name to Makoshians, which I think was good. But they isolated themselves from humans after they had received their TV and radio signals. And from the signals, they got all this entertainment that showed lots of violence, some violence real, some violence pretend, but they saw it as all just the same. And that's why they called the Earth, that's why they called them diseased. That's why they called the alien, they called the Enterprise crew diseased because of all of this information.
Is it kind of like the Thermians from Galaxy Quest, where they analyze the historic records?
Yes, it's exactly like that, except instead of being inspired, they are disgusted.
Terrified.
Or the aliens from the movie Explorers by Joe Dante, if anybody's seen that, same thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, totes.
And I think that little element really explains their motivations for punishing the crew and expecting them to behave violently. And then we get our arena ending because, like, I don't care about everybody's seen this episode, and it ties it all together so perfectly. Exactly.
You care about arena, but it's the spoilers, right? You don't to be specific.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't care that it's a spoiler. It's that it ends kind of like arena in terms of Kirk deciding not to kill.
It does. Now, but here's my thing. Like, in terms of the 3 seasons, the first season is much more about exploration, maintaining the infrastructure of the Federation, and establishing Starfleet, which I think is great through that entire season. And then by the time you get to season 2, I feel like Kirk and the landing party are always captured. And in this one, it seems like a mixture of the two. Like, there's no big escapes that have to happen in season 3, as opposed to season 2, where they were trying to escape from cells and prisons.
Well, technically, they are captured here. They're forced into this fantasy world, this matrix, the matrix of the...
Right,
but it's not an escape room.
What we're talking about is if they had a communicator to get out of there.
Yeah.
That's true.
That is something...
But
it's not getting out of a small room.
Because I hadn't seen this episode for a while, so I always assume they're going to try to make a communicator, but none of the devices are working, so that's the excuse there.
Well, and Spock is very complimentary throughout this episode, in his way, because when he discovers that the tricorder isn't working, it's right after McCoy does his... I don't know. I don't even know how many times McCoy has said he doesn't like the transporter. Probably like only a handful, but we remember it as being a part of his character. And he says, it's about time that damn transporter, or that blasted transporter, is finally malfunctioning. And Scotty's like, no.
My transporter was totally fine.
And then Spock, and again, this is sort of a compliment coming from Spock. Unlike Mr. Scott's transporter, this device is non-functional.
Yes. So,
and then Kirk goes for the communicator, and he does the classic, like something that he's been doing since This Side of Paradise, is that he flips it open and he tries to work the communicator. He just taps it. And I love that it's something that is maintained. There are a couple of moments through this episode where it's like the characterizations. I don't give a lot of credit to actors except for being personalities and sort of celebrities and being able to be on screen. But there's some incredible characterization going on with James Doohan and Kirk and Spock, who is a little subdued, I think. And McCoy is just like DeForest Kelley is always aces.
He is, definitely.
I left out Walter Koenig, but he's great.
And Kirk would either tap the communicator or turn the fake dials.
Right.
I agree. I did want to mention this episode's directed by Vincent Micavetti. Micavetti? Is it Micavetti or Micavetti?
There's 2 E's, so I'm guessing it's Micavetti.
Okay, Vincent Micavetti returned
correct us if we're wrong, everybody in the chat. Yeah, if anybody knows otherwise. Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
so I could be wrong.
So yeah, he previously directed Balance of Terror, Patterns of Force. So he's been a recurring director, and this is the last episode that he directs. And it makes sense because he was a frequent director of Gunsmoke. 45 episodes. Wow.
I know this stuff.
That's why I'm jazzed you're here, sir. Apparently, there's a behind-the-scenes outtake still. I don't know if it's part of the like an outtake reel, but it has the Melkoshian with a fake mustache and horn-rimmed glasses.
Oh yeah, here it is.
I'd love to see it. I've never seen it. Spooky.
I went through pop culture's blooper reel to find it.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fun.
New profile pic. Hey, Raymond Feliciano is here.
Hey, and Franco Walker gives this episode a B. And yes, hello to Raymond Feliciano of King Dolphin TV. Hey, anyone out there has not subscribed to King Dolphin TV, please do so now. He is so close to 300 subscribers. We want to get him up to 300. Like now. Let's do it.
I'm subbed. Good to see you, Raymond.
Okay.
Hi, Raymond.
And also Matt G.
Matt
G. And if anyone's looking for just a stream to listen to on the weekend that's just feels like hanging out with friends, go ahead and join King Dolphin TV. You get some really cool Just Cuz streams, and you feel like you're just hanging out with a bunch of friends.
Yeah, and that is a lot of fun.
I do feel very welcome when I go there. The only thing is he won't let me swear.
Well, you could just replace them with pretend swears.
That's usually what I razzle frats.
Exactly. Big Daddy MRI says, from the first airing of that episode, I used all through college and while installing new MRI machines. My coworkers used to greet me with that quote when I got on site. Oh, from which quote? All of our animal
Big Daddy?
friends.
I got to scroll up, Big Daddy.
Oh yeah.
Spock, help me. Spock.
I don't know which one.
No, that's where it is.
Oh, thank you.
May I change my handle to on YouTube to Spock? Help me, Spock.
You can do what you want, but that might be confusing. And yes, there's Matt G as Taylor Swift, greater than Disney Star Wars.
Did that movie open? Did the Taylor Swift movie open?
Yeah, it did.
It
and Matt G
weekend?
thought, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't understand going to a concert movie in a theater. But
well,
if you enjoyed it, good for you.
If you can't make it to the actual concert, and I imagine it's cheaper.
Well, is it? It's not live, but is it? Obviously, since it plays like a movie, right? It's filmed.
Yeah.
So there's several showings. Right.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to like a? Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say going to a concert movie and then just being like, "Oh my God, it's Taylor Swift!" Like having the same reaction in a movie theater to the projected image as the same way that you would go and see like, "Oh my God, that was the best drum solo ever." And you freak out
without all the alcohol and booze and drugs and whatever.
Oh, I don't know. In Canada, you can get beer
at the theaters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The theaters here are starting to allow that as well.
What do you mean by here?
And well, I know in like Las Vegas you can, and I think in here in Texas there's a theater that I think you can
Draft
buy a brew.
House.
Pardon?
The Alamo Draft House.
That's down in Austin. I haven't been down there, but yeah, I do know that they do serve alcohol, and you can actually order meals to be brought to you. Those are pretty good.
My beats have to sneak it
in.
in.
Testing. Okay. Yes.
Yep, I can hear you.
Yes, I got the Draft House too.
But
yeah, that's a lot of fun. But
a good time out isn't going to a Taylor Swift concert and getting hammered and
Well, you know what?
Not
that's for Matt G though. He was so fortunate for himself because he got to have the whole theater to himself. I forget how he managed that, but that's what he said.
Wicked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't enjoy those beverages in the theater because I'd have to step out and use the restroom, and I don't like missing any of the movie.
True. That's
Stone
true.
Racket says those glasses belong to Robert Jessman.
Oh,
That I
that makes
didn't know.
sense. So does the mustache.
Color.
That's funny.
Basically, the guy who owns the rights doesn't like BBC. Wait, what? Oh, they're talking about Doctor Who. And hello to Edge of Time. And oh, look, Sean Carter as the sci-fi model guy. It's saying him. Alamo Drafthouse, yeah, I have that too. The regular theaters, they are competing, so they serve beer too now.
I'll remember that
Well,
next
and
time I
I-
go see I'll remember that next time I go see a Disney movie.
Oh no, don't. Just go hang out in the bar, man.
Yeah, I'd rather. Yeah, you're right.
But since we don't get that really cool idea of the Melkotians watching violent TV, because the NBC didn't want them to say, oh, well, they didn't want the audience to get the idea that TV is to blame for showing violence and stuff. So that's why that whole subplot disappeared. Instead
have
of
a
that,
question.
all we get is that the Melkotians don't want the Enterprise. They say go away. The Enterprise doesn't go away, and so they must be punished and they must die. Yes.
Now, in terms of like modern storytelling, and one of the reasons that I really enjoy this episode is that there isn't something like that. You mentioned that you would prefer it. It would be something sort of the forebearer to the approach of the Enterprise, where the Melkotians have their television and signals. But I like it because, again, if I'm going to compare and contrast with season 2, there were a lot of parallel Earth things. And so I do like that the Melkotians are true telepaths. Spock warns they could be formidable. We don't know, and I would prefer to be a welcome guest. But like, I think it's in this particular story, I think it's more interesting that it is incomplete and drawn from the memories of the crew. Also, it should have been McCoy. It should have been taken from McCoy, considering his production history.
No matter, even with the TV thing, it's still drawn from. Well, okay, it would have been drawn from the actual broadcast, but it still could have been from Kirk's memory. I don't know. I think
as we went through season 2 and we discussed so many parallel Earths, I was like, I get why people are like, another one. And so this one, stylized as it is, incomplete, fragmented, and I think the production design on it is fantastic. Even the signs are just sort of dangling on nothing, and you can see some of the fishing wire that is holding, or fishing line that is holding them from the rafters. But I'm sorry?
Walter Jeffries, he's the production designer on this episode. So yeah.
Is it Walter Jeffries or Matt Jeffries?
It's both.
Oh wow, there were
both
Jeffries
are correct.
brothers?
No, it's the same person. Walter Matt Jeffries. We know him as Matt Jeffries, but Walter Jeffries is his first name. Walter Matt Jeffries.
It's a series of tubes.
Yeah, he is. He's incredible. Look at this thing that he did for this episode. I didn't have a particular moment to show it, so
I love it. I'll point it out as it arrives. Oh, that's amazing. Like, production sketch is great.
Yeah. Matt Jeffries sketch for the Marshal's office set. And so, yeah, but also for the Melkotian, on the ship, it was voiced by Jimmy Doohan. But then on the planet, it's voiced by Abraham Sofer at 72, age 72. He also played a Thasian in the first season episode Charlie X.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah. And the designer of the Melkotian's mask was Mike Miner. I wonder if there was anything in These Are the Voyages about Mike Miner. I didn't really look.
Well, the Melkotian, Melkotian buoy. That reminds me of like a television logo from the 60s. It looks like something. It reminds me of something. I don't know if you guys remember it, and if not, then I apologize for kiboshing or hijacking. Do you guys remember anything that was like ICF or It wasn't IDF.
Oh, are you talking about the ones that made Space 1999?
Is that it? Like in terms of at the end of the episode, they would show this is a production of, and it looks like the Melkoshian sort of twisty box satellite. Nothing? Okay. I just imagined.
Well, I was thinking it looks like I was thinking it looked like the end of the staff used in the Lost in Space episode, The Keeper part 1 and 2. He had a staff that was made out of glass that looked similar. But it was easy to break, even though he was supposed to be very advanced. All you had to do was knock it over.
Yeah, and so, yeah.
ITC, I think, is the company.
The Enterprise crew, the landing crew, they lost their phasers. Now they just have revolvers. And
Kirk has no trigger discipline.
Yeah, and of course we
not
have
at the beginning. Not at the beginning.
We have the buildings that are incomplete. Like you said, since they're drawn directly from Kirk's memory, they are not full. They're just pieces of his mind. And that really helped with the budget.
Yeah, what a clever way to write that in, like to get around your budgetary constraints. Just make it part of the story.
And yeah, make it very surreal, make it like a dream. And of course, if you're filming on set, the sky wouldn't be red. I guess you can still make it red, but it helps with that.
Well, in the lighting, nothing is ever actually clear. Like when they're in shadow, it's and this is something that sort of goes throughout the season, is that it is starkly lit, I guess.
Notice the sign on the sheriff's office is in Star Trek font.
I like that a lot.
Oh,
the only thing familiar to us as the audience, and assumedly the landing party, is the font.
I didn't notice that. Thank you. Sheriff Johnny Behan was played by Bill Zuckert, 52. He was also
like he was
another
in a Batman.
I don't know if he was in Batman.
He did a lot of stuff.
He was in Death Valley Days, other westerns, Bonanza, Here Comes the Bride, and Gun. Oh, he worked on Gunsmoke.
Apparently. Oh no. Apparently he was in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yeah, he lived for a while.
Good for him.
Neat.
This episode actually gave me a lot with the actors and what their roles went on to. Like apparently one of the Earp boys is in Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. So I'm going to check that out shortly.
Well, yeah, you have to tell us which one, because there are several.
Yes. Well, the first one, from what I did research this week, Jill. I love this episode. So
there we go.
And there
guys,
he
Star Trek
is.
5.
There's John. I don't think you would kill me for a field full of holes. It's all I have. Amazing. I'm curious about Shatner's relationship with Rex Holman. If they were lifelong friends or if it was just like he auditioned. And again, not to cast shade on either person, but I'm just curious if there was a relationship or if it was just, all right, you're a working actor and I remember you, you're hired.
I felt the same way about the guy who played Admiral Cartwright. And I have a feeling they were friends that went way back because I saw an old movie with those two work together.
Brock Peters.
Brock Peters, that's it. Yeah, I'd seen a movie where they had worked together previously, so I'm guessing maybe I'd been friends.
Yeah, he also played Cisco's father.
Good for him.
Yeah, Brock. He did.
Oh, come on, Pop. Just because you don't like Deep Space Nine doesn't mean you should besmirch Brock.
No, I'm saying good for him.
No,
good for him for just getting the role, because I like Brock Peters. He goes all the way back to Kill a Mockingbird.
For
Brock
sure.
Peters
Absolutely.
is amazing as Joseph Sisko. He's really cool.
Yeah, anytime the actors can get work, I'm happy for him.
Sometimes I forget because I hung out with like Rennie and Mr. Brown and oh, good for you. And so it can turn out to be a little bit of a derogatory. It's like, Brock Peters, he was Joseph Sisko. Oh, good for him.
Well, this here is Rex Holman, who's playing Morgan Earp. He was 40, and McVitie he cast him in Gunsmoke in 16 episodes, and he was in The Big Valley, The Virginian. I don't know any of these westerns. The Guns of Will Sonnet.
One of the first two you mentioned.
And like you said, he was in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. He was John.
The very first scene, right?
Oh, he's a sidekick throughout the whole thing. He's like Joaquin in Star Trek 2. He's the second in command to Cybok.
Very cool. Oh, there's a little more of him. Rex Holman. No, okay, never mind. That's a different one. I have so many people here. I'm getting them all mixed up. I'm not going to be able to.
Now I have to ask. I'm a big fan of the Kurt Russell movie Tombstone.
Sure.
That's who was that? Which
that was
Virgil.
Morgan.
That was Morgan? Is Morgan Bill Paxton?
No, Morgan was Rex Holman.
No, I mean in Tombstone.
Oh, I have no clue.
And I don't remember. It's been such a long time since I've seen Tombstone.
Maybe the chat can help me out. All right.
The chat will know.
The chat always knows.
Chat knows all. I don't know westerns. I'm sorry, guys. I got a lot of holes in my pop culture that I've got to fill. That's why I have this channel to learn.
I'm just being difficult. But this moment when the gunfight, when Morgan kills that guy, apparently for no reason. I'm sure he did something wrong in the bar, but the music that comes on is amazing, and it adds to the ambiance and the sort of otherworldly nature of it. Of course, it's otherworldly. It's Star Trek. Shut up, Scott. But like, just in terms of it being eerie.
Oh,
I love that Western music.
This episode always gave up a Twilight Zone feel to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that eeriness that you're talking about is exactly that feeling that I get sometimes from some Twilight Zone episodes.
So then, who did the soundtrack of this episode?
Same guy who did Trouble with Tribbles.
Trouble with Tribbles, yes, I know that. I just don't know what his name was.
Well, I don't know. Let me check the credits. Hang on. Stop yelling at me.
Why was I missing this information also?
Oh, this is collaborative. Come on. It says Jerry Fielding.
Yes, that's it. Jerry Fielding. That's great. And I think the music is pretty great in this episode. Agreed. And there's some more information about the other ERPs. Charles Maxwell plays Virgil.
Yeah.
And he was in Bonanza, Gunsmoke, Rawhide, and Masterson.
Was he ever on the Rockford Files?
You have to answer these questions.
I will look.
Okay,
look.
fine. I will. I can.
No,
look.
no,
Actually,
I
can
need
help.
to. No,
Like,
come
if
on.
you ask a
I
question,
can do
you
it.
have to answer it, right?
It's true, but I can answer it. Virgil.
Charles Maxwell.
Who I think was, I think Virgil was the mustache guy in Tombstone. Oh, no. Heavens. I think that he actually, when did he pass away? Heavens, 93.
He was on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, that's cool. He was on Mission Impossible.
He didn't act for very long.
No.
Or, I guess he did, for a long time ago.
Yeah, 20 years. Yeah. 20 years at the birth of television.
This is near the end of his career.
But yeah, Bonanza seems to be his last acting role.
Oh, Nemesis Zabeden says walking, so I can't see who's on the panel, but it sounds like Jill, of course, Pop, Scotty R37, and I think Sean Carter.
Hello, Nemesis. Good to see you.
You got it right, Nemesis Zabeden.
You get a gold star.
Yes, Nemesis, that's me.
And yes, Nemesis, we are doing our stream tonight.
Oh, great.
Jurassic Park?
Oh, speaking of
Yes.
eating things, I'm looking forward to
Can I
discussing
come?
dinosaurs eating people
Sure.
tonight with
Thank you.
Pop and whoever shows up on the horror stream. We're talking about Jurassic Park. That is one of my favorite movies from my childhood. That is incredible. And hello to
Well-
PJ at Orville Nation.
Hello there.
Great to see you. Thanks, dude. They look great. Pretty sure I want to have. Okay, cool. And
Well, and also, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Dr. McCoy, DeForest
oh,
Kelly.
shit.
Like this was old hat for him. He's been in many productions of the gunfight at the OK.
I know it's right.
Like,
Mhm.
who did he play? He played a Clanton, didn't he?
He was the
Did
first
he
that
play a
was
Clanton or
injured.
did he play a? Sorry,
I watched. I remember he was the first that was injured and or killed. I watched it just before Jill and I did our tribute stream to him. So it's been a little over a year, I guess. Over a year.
mm-hmm.
It's been over a year. Yeah, when we did that. Definitely.
Year and a half at least.
I know he was in Gunfight at the OK Corral with Kirk Douglas and
This is
Burt
his
Lancaster.
third time. This is his third time at the OK Corral.
You know, this is one of those situations where it's like you go to IMDb and it says known for, and it's like Star Trek, Star Trek, Star Trek, Star Trek. It's like, yes, I understand that. Thank you, IMDb. Can you like pepper it up? Can you add a little bit of his earlier career just so I can get a broader taste of the man's talents? But yeah, he was definitely, and again, huge Western actor.
Because he was a Western villain before he became a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He was apparently really thrilled with this. And he said, when I saw the script, I rolled on the floor. And so he appeared in the 1955 presentation of Gunfight at the OK Corral on CBS, the anthology show. You Are There. And he played Ike Clayton, Clanton. And then 2 years later, he played Morgan Earp.
He played Morgan. Good for him.
Yes. And in this episode, he's Tom McLowry. DeForest Kelly said, I thought, my God, I'm doing it again in space. In this, I was one of the McLowry brothers. Leonard was one of the brothers, and I was the other. It was a situation that could have been funny, but nothing was ever done about it. But it struck me as funny.
Well, apparently he was also offered a role in a Western in 1967 called Hour of the Gun, but he had to turn it down because he was busy filming Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sub-Commander Tal says D. Kelly just felt so comfy in those roles.
Hello, Tal.
Everyone was a Western actor at some point in the 60s.
I was.
Yeah.
Also, welcome. Much. And also, welcome to Classic Comics. This is one of the first Star Trek episodes I saw. Always been fond of it. You know, that's just, I've heard that before. This is a lot of people's first episode for some reason.
Yeah, this was an early one for me too.
When do you think you first saw it, Sean?
I must have been 11, maybe 10,
nice.
Probably. So that's 1984.
Mm-hmm. But it's a memorable, it's a standout. Just as, like, this isn't, I don't know, this isn't a classic Star Trek episode. Well, it is a classic Star Trek episode, but it isn't one that pops to mind immediately. But this kind of weird adventure in an alien environment, it strikes me. And then also, like, nobody seems afraid, which is something that I really appreciate about the characterization of Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Scotty, Chekhov. Mm-hmm. And like, I just like how they're trying to solve a problem. And again, it's one of the things, and I don't like comparing to modern Star Trek, but it's just a matter of, this is a group of people even put into an alien situation doing their jobs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chekhov's even enjoying himself.
The screenshot is so good.
Well, he might be enjoying himself a little bit too much.
Yes, he does get carried away.
Well, but when we get to later, when what's her name, Emily or whatever, I'm sorry, Sally, Eunice, says we should get married, and then he's like, this has been fun and all, but I'm gonna die at 5.
Sylvia, her name's Sylvia.
Sylvia, my mistake.
And Chekhov is accosted by her, and I guess he's not bothered by it. And the reason is because there was a thing with the executives. They wanted more Chekhov because they realized he was popular in season 2. According to a magazine called Cinefantastique is what is referenced as the document for that one.
That was a great magazine.
Well, I do you guys, I kind of feel like Sulu got a little ripped off because we do establish in Shore Leave that Sulu is the ancient weapons sort of aficionado and presented with a revolver, like with a 6-gun. I kind of feel like Sulu would have been a good character to be here to be able to play with it. Or maybe he would have been trigger happy.
Sulu wasn't around for this episode. He couldn't be here. He couldn't be around for filming.
Are we still blaming the Green Berets?
No, that's over. I don't know.
Okay, good.
Does anybody know why George Takei couldn't be on set?
They just didn't want to pay him.
I'm guessing because of budget, because of how many guest starring roles they had to hire for the. You notice that whenever they have more guest starring roles for the episode, then the less we see of the main cast.
True.
So that's what I'm guessing. And also, budget constraints.
That's a logical conclusion. I have this video. I want to risk playing it. See if I can get away with it. Let's see. If not, I'll clip it out later. It's a Walter Koenig talking about this episode. All right, and I gotta turn on the audio.
Step out of the way. Chekhov gets to kiss the girl. He gets shot. Dies. He comes back.
Here, I'll skip this a little bit to make sure.
I don't understand.
Neither do I. He's in perfect health.
And beyond that, this is one of those cases where necessity being the mother of invention, we had a highly stylized show. Because our budget was particularly short on this particular episode, and I don't know the reason why offhand. And rather than trying to conceal the fact that we were only using storefronts, we were using facades, they integrated that into this show.
Obviously, this represents the Melkoshians' American frontier town, circa 18, just bits and pieces. It's incomplete.
And it gave it a very eerie, otherworldly sense. And I thought that the show stood out because of that, because of that stylized approach that they used.
Totally.
And there you go. Oh, and like we were saying about Sylvia, she's 25 years old in this episode.
Really?
Yeah.
She looks older.
And she was a friend with Bob Dylan, I guess. They went to university together.
That explains it.
She worked in TV since the 60s. She was also in Gunsmoke, Peyton Place, and The Fugitive. But she quit acting after this to get married for real to Hugh Romney, whoever that is. It says Wavy Gravy, the hippie clown. I have no clue.
No idea.
No idea here, as well. No.
All right.
Excuse me for just one moment. I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, so Bonnie Beecher, that's her name. And then we'll play this. Oh, we're always supposed to maintain good relations with the natives. that actually reminds me of a line from Forbidden Planet. There's a similar line in Forbidden Planet.
That's true.
About doing the very same thing.
I love how Chekhov is always just so funnily insubordinate to Kirk.
He is a little bit, yeah.
Just a little. He has a fun time.
Yeah, he doesn't go overboard.
History cannot be changed. Cannot be changed. I have an urgent need.
That's later. I don't know why I put that one as next. This one is next.
Captain, you know we're supposed to maintain relations with an relation.
Okay. And let's continue with the slides. And of course, they have to figure out how to survive this attack. They know they can't. They know if they have to go through with this fight, they're meant to die. And that's why earlier Spock said, you can't change history. We're all about to, essentially they're being sentenced to death by the Melkoshian, who are having the Earps kill them. And they almost get into a fight with Morgan, who kills on sight, and fortunately Kirk sits down, and they don't do that here. So the whole episode is just that, them avoiding getting shot until of course Chekhov gets shot, and that happens. And Kirk is trying to say, hey, I'm not this Clanton guy. I'm not Clanton. So he spends some of the time trying to convince everybody that he's not who he looks like, but it's not working. It doesn't help. Oh, and that guy we just saw who was the bartender was played by Charles Seal. So let's go back to him. This is Charles Seal, the bartender, 71. He was also in Westerns. The man who shot Liberty Valance.
Liberty Valance with James Stewart and John Wayne.
Mm-hmm. Sergeant Rutledge and Cheyenne Autumn. And he was also in lots of Gunsmoke. So this isn't his first time as a bartender either. So there you go. And he played Otis, the bartender, in Tombstone. But Kirk is trying to make peace, as Kirk does. And, he'll fight when he has to. So they definitely, in season 3, if you're worried about the Star Trek message getting lost, it certainly doesn't in this episode in terms of only fighting when you gotta. And so there's a little scuffle for Kirk's efforts to try to be peaceful. And so he's just like, okay, they won't call off the fight, so we're just gonna leave town. But what happens? It's they're stuck. They can't leave because of a force field. But this is still that little fight they have. But of course, Kirk's not going to be taken down by just two guys. That's crazy. So of course he's fine. Oh, and I guess this is early on. They figure out, since they don't have their phasers, they figure out an alternative method that they could defeat the Earps with. So they're going to use a tranquilizer. They wanted to use darts. They wanted to use darts. Kuhn had decided he wanted to shoot a dart in Scotty's butt, but the NBC was like, no, you can't do that. No, so they decided to go with the gas instead. Oh, this is where they encounter the force field. They decide they're just going to leave. That doesn't work. That doesn't work at all because, of course, it can't. That would be too easy. Subcommander Tall says, I didn't like this episode as a kid because I thought Westerns were corny, but as an adult, I appreciate it so much. He also says the messaging at the end is sort of cookie cutter. Gene Kuhn writing, but the whole surreal sets and the artificial zombie-like aspects of the ERPs make it memorable. Yes, well, yes, that's why I call it. They gave it the arena ending. Where Kirk decides not to kill him. But I like that. I don't mind that repeat of my favorite episode. Not my favorite episode, but one of my favorites is Rena. Oh, there's an echo in the clips. Oh, that's because I forgot to turn off the sound on my thing. Okay. So let me play the clips again. I don't like it when there's an echo, so let's play them one more time.
History cannot be changed.
Captain, you know we're always supposed to maintain good relations with the natives.
Go. Thank you so much, Franco Walker. You're so helpful with that. Echo on the clips, and you can't blame me this time. Yeah, no, I can't. I can't blame you this time. Nope. It's not your fault, girl.
Bye-bye, Tyron Lithbridge. He's saying he's leaving. He or she.
Oh, I didn't even know he said hello. Hello to Tyron. Oh, no, wait. He's saying good day. No,
oh,
actually,
hello. Okay.
That's hello
Sorry.
in Australian.
I apologize for that. Thank you for the correction.
No, that's okay. No, when I pick up my son from school, I ask if he had a good day. So sometimes I don't even have to ask him. I just say, hello, Alan. He says, good day. But he actually tries to use an Australian accent, and he does a really good job.
Yeah, hey, Tyron, hope you're doing well.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I know my son had a good day.
Oh man, I just found I've been doing inventory of my physical media. I have all 3 Crocodile Dundees. We should do that on a Friday.
Sure, why not? Well, we'll need to have Tyron on.
Yeah, of course.
And I got a little audio help from the chat. And hello to Darius Munchausen. Man, it is so cool to see you every time I can. I know the proper place to get the proper drugs. I know the place.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting throughout the story of the episode is that, like, again, I don't have the historical context. The only thing I know about the OK Corral is from the movie Tombstone. And to know that these guys are jerks, like the Clanton clan, according to that film, not the best people in the world. And so the good guys in this episode are the ERPs.
Yeah, according to the sheriff, real records from the sheriff, he did say that the town didn't like the ERPs, and the Clantons were the ones who were supposed to defeat him. Of course, that's not how it came out.
Well, according to the supposed to be horse rustlers, which is definitely a no-no back then.
But according to Tombstone, it was because the Clantons were actually, they were making money. They were spending money. And so they were beneficial to Tombstone. Also, why would you live in a town called Tombstone? You're gonna die there.
That's a good point. That's another question. Yeah, it's a very forbidding name. So
welcome to Ultimate Demise.
Dr. McCoy visits Doc Holliday to get the chemicals he needs for the tranquilizer.
This is Val Kilmer. And also, this is the interesting thing.
Ed McCready.
Okay. True. But it's also like, and one of the things that Bean says, it's like, or no, it's the bartender. It's like, that's what we like about you Clanton boys. You always got the jokes. The ERPs, they don't joke. And when Doc Holliday is here, and he was quote unquote a dentist, and if I remember this correctly, it was just because he was a drug addict and alcoholic. He had consumption and tuberculosis.
Well, back in those days, you didn't need a PhD to be a doctor.
Exactly. You just walked into town and said, I'm a doctor.
Need to know the right drugs.
But this is the best part, is that this guy, like Doc Holliday, is the only guy with a sense of humor. He's the only one who sort of chuckles at McCoy, and he's like, "With that joke's been going all over town. You want the drugs?
Oh,
Take the drugs."
my mistake. Doc Holliday is played by Sam Gilman. I got him mixed up with the barber. Oh,
Same guy
okay.
or
So
same
this
scene?
guy is Ed McCready. This is the barber, and this is Doc Holliday, who we're going to see in a little bit. So let's play that.
Let's play that.
He's got to take that towel off his face.
That's not a phrase I was expected to hear today.
There he is. There's Sam Gilman.
Mm-hmm. But he's antagonistic, but also he's got a chuckle in his voice, an ominous chuckle. But he's still, yeah, fine. Take the drugs. Yeah. Have some fun if you wanna.
All right, he throws him his bag. Take my bag.
Take my bag.
I
but
like
no, at
that
5
too.
o'clock, you're gonna get a hole in your head coming right from this gun.
You're right. That was a bit more lighthearted than the way everyone else behaves in this episode. But the reason I mentioned the barber, Ed McCready, he was also in Dagger of the Mind.
Who was he?
I don't know. Huh. He was a Tantalus colony inmate tortured in the neutralizer. In Miri, he was the deformed boy creature. Who died.
Oh, wow. That was him?
Yeah.
Cool.
And in Patterns of Force, he was an Akosian. And Nazi sergeant.
Nazi!
In the Omega Glory. Man, he's done a lot of stuff. The Omega Glory, he played Dr. Carter, the chief medical officer on the USS Exeter.
Any relation to you, Sean?
Oh.
I think he stepped away for a moment.
That's okay. That's a good joke, though. And all of those episodes were directed by Vincent McVitie. So they were friends. So that explains it. That explains why he was in so many Star Trek episodes.
Which is great.
So you were mentioning the actual history of everything. And Tombstone, what we see, some of the... Okay, so it's based on what Kirk knows. So that's why it gets to be distorted. Some of the stuff doesn't line up with actual history. So that helps with the creative aspect of this episode. Wyatt Earp was not the Marshal of Tombstone, but he was a territorial U.S. Marshal. Virgil was the city marshal. And the real Morgan Earp was even-tempered. He only used his gun when he was provoked, so he didn't shoot on sight like in this episode. So that I think that was a really good thing that it's just Kirk's spotty history, his memory of what it was like, and that gave it the flexibility to be nothing like how it really was.
Well, Pop, what is your favorite sort of cinematic version of the gunfight at the OK Corral?
I know Tombstone is the most recent that I remember, but I did like the classic one with DeForest Kelley. It seemed like Tombstone, they were all too good looking because they were, Kurt Russell and,
Val and
Val
Sam
Kilmer,
Elliott.
Bill Paxton. Yeah. I mean, it was okay, but I guess it wasn't gritty enough for me. But I liked the movie. It was a good movie.
It's a good movie, but you know what? I've never seen the original with like the 1957 with Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster, but I want to. Like it is a hole in my pop culture heart.
I do recommend it. It's a great, especially those two actors. Those are top of their game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I need to watch all that stuff too. I have to watch all the westerns.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Burt Lancaster.
You're gonna have a university course.
I've seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So
that counts.
That's my beginnings. Sub Commander Tall says, speaking of material in the shirt, what do we think of polyester uniforms of season 3 with versus the velour ones of season 1 and 2.
I was thinking probably hotter. Polyester is hot. Doesn't breathe very well since it's synthetic.
Well,
I don't know. Never wore velour that I know of.
I was kind of agreeing with the same idea. I don't know how velour breathes. I don't know. But once we do eventually get to giant wool tunics. So in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And so I feel like, yeah, this is just the progression of the original series, is that as budgets sort of dwindle, the hotter the uniforms get.
Oh, Nemesis of Eden has to go now. I hope you all have an amazing day. I will see you all later for Jurassic Park. Have a wonderful day, Nemesis of Eden. I'm a few minutes late on that message, but I hope this message still reaches you and you have a wonderful day too.
Take care, Nemesis.
Nemesis in Forza.
Tyron says, I was just about to go to the gym and I saw the stream was on. Oh, well, you can listen to it while you work out too if you want to.
Part of the reason that we do these streams is just to imagine people listening to them while they get sweaty.
That's not a bad thing. Like if you're listening to this while you're... One time somebody told me they were listening while riding their bike. I wish I could remember who that was. Somebody?
Probably some guy named Elliot.
The episode's getting away from me. Great trivia as always, Jill, says Franco Walker. Thank you. Who shaves the barber? He uses the mirror.
Hey, Wes Cagle.
Franco Walker says, please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat. John Doe is here. Hello, John Doe. Consumption is TB, aka tuberculosis. I just found out.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a problem back then. Well, it's still a problem, actually.
For a long time, yeah.
I think I have it.
Hello.
Consumption.
Hello,
I do consume excessively.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, guys. I'm back. I'm sorry. My employer has this annoying habit of asking me to do things during the day.
Oh, like work? Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have to go?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
I just heard my
he quit his job
dinging at me from downstairs.
Well, you do have to answer when they call, so I do understand that. Anytime you have to step away, and if you do, go whenever you need to. But let me know if you do have to step away for real, so you can plug your channel.
Oh yeah, I will definitely. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, and we'll need your rating, like.
Yeah, right. Oh, right. We need your rating, and then you can go.
Oh no,
but
I'm
you're
good.
still
And
here.
I put a note in the private
you're
chat.
You're still here. Yeah. Okay. Good.
I can't read.
That's true. Well, you can read, but selectively.
True. It's like my hearing.
Yes, and Sylvia's looking forward to the dance. And like you said earlier, checks into reality when she mentions his marriage. But this is also the scene where he dies. He gets shot and killed by Morgan. And here Kirk is really regretful of it. He's like, if I would have just listened to the warning, we wouldn't be here.
Well, and this is something. This is
seems
this
a bit out of, does that seem a bit out of character for you? I don't know.
For who?
Not the
for
part
Kirk?
where he's regretful of Chekhov dying is not out of character. The part where he regrets engaging with the alien seems strange.
I don't think it's out of character at all.
Okay.
And here's why: is that there have been responsibilities that that Kirk has accepted, and he said, like, what and this echoes back to the cage when Pike is with Dr. Boyce saying, I'm sick and tired of deciding who lives and who dies. And then as we move forward, I think, is it the Corbomite maneuver when Kirk is saying, like, maybe I should have just veered off. Maybe I should have gone. I don't know what I was supposed to do. And then McCoy says, don't devalue the one named Kirk.
Yes.
This is still a character trait of Jim, as he like, you know what, maybe I should have gone. And then the crew around, like even with McCoy, McCoy certainly knew the risks.
That was balance of terror, but
balance of terror. My mistake.
I thought, if anything, it was a lot of character for the other crew members, because you would think he'd be a little closer to Chekhov because he served there on the bridge, and the other ones were like, "Get over it, he's dead." You know, which is true, he's dead. But I can understand why Kirk would be a little more regretful, because he didn't serve on the bridge. He wasn't just somebody down below.
He's been just as upset about a red shirt dying, so that aspect of him works perfectly.
Right. What they should have said, "Don't worry, Captain. We'll all laugh about it at the end of the episode anyway," right?
Well, and Scotty,
at least this episode they don't do that. They don't have a funny joke at the end.
No, they don't.
And Scotty even says, "It's like, Mr. Spock, I don't understand. You worked closely with Chekhov," which goes back to a thing that I thought was really interesting in terms of the introduction of Chekhov, is that he is sort of an understudy. He is the one who takes over for the science station when Spock is away. Like they do reference the continuity of the relationship between Spock and Chekhov, and it's not like Spock is dismissive. Spock says, like, my emotions are not up for discussion. And then Spock is very much problem-solving oriented, and Kirk says, well, it takes a little time, and then everyone starts ganging up on Spock, and Spock says, you know, they forget I'm half human, which is again a reestablishment of a character trait that isn't necessary, but it does solidify the relationship that these men have.
I absolutely love that scene where everyone is upset about Chekhov and they question Spock in that, and I think he says that as if to say he is putting up the walls that he's not going to grieve, but it does still affect him. It doesn't mean it doesn't affect him.
Right. He just shows it differently.
Well, and as a man who's doing his job.
Sorry about that. I interrupted you.
No, Spock did, which is the best way to be interrupted. But that is something where Starfleet officers can compartmentalize their emotions to the point of being able to do their job and perform their duty.
Absolutely. Cam is here. Hello to Cam. He's got to get driving. Be safe, Cam.
Yeah, take care, Cam. Good to see you.
Cam, I didn't know you were a golfer.
He says, B+, interesting and fun episode. Have fun, everybody. Also, Wes Cagle says, this is an interesting episode. Not one of my favorites, but it's good. I give it a B-. Not one I'd seek out to watch, but it's not an instant skip if I'm binge watching.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good review. Oh, and in an interview to the World of Star Trek, James Doohan said he didn't like his hair like this.
So that was an order of Paramount. They wanted his hair slicked back.
We see it again in the Tholian Web, the empath Ilana Troyes, and that's it. and then he's like, no more.
Well, you bring an interesting point. Is and we'll be watching these episodes in production order. One of the things that I want to pay attention to is Scotty's hair, because there are 3, from my memory, distinct hairstyles. One of them is the slicked back that we see here. Another one is the classic Scotty, parted at the side, little on the forehead, but then we get like a Caesar cut. So as we continue through season 3, we have to point out Scotty's haircut. Oh, this is amazing.
I will count on you for that.
I will do that for you and for the
Okay.
audience and for everyone on the internet. But this is amazing. I love this
Sheriff.
scene simply because Kirk tries to pull a classic Kirk speech. And he's like,
right. Stop fighting. Stop the fighting.
There must be people in this town who don't like the Earps. We have to organize and get behind the law. And then, you know, Bean goes all bug nuts and says, no, you get law from a gun. Go kill him. Kill him any way you can.
We're not going to deny you your revenge. And so that's the key of the episode, is that Kirk is apparently going for revenge. Because they killed Chekhov, Billy, in this episode. Chekhov is Billy. In case you're listening and you're confused who Billy is, it's Chekhov. And he died.
He's a kid.
Apparently.
Wait, no, that's wrong. Billy is not a kid. It's not that one.
Not that Billy. A different Billy. Oh, let's see. I have some notes here. The sheriff, the actual sheriff of Cochise County in 1881 was allied with criminal groups in Arizona. Cochise, thank you. So the sheriff was allied with the Clantons, and this is apparently supported with historical evidence. And his brothers and Doc Holliday were deputies. Wyatt Earp was a deputy United States Marshal. So there we go.
Here we have reinforcement of Scotty's alcoholism.
Oh, yeah. Right. But why not? It's fine.
It's to kill the pain.
And it's interesting that Leonard Nimoy was the one who had a relationship with the old Liquid at the time.
It was the
Billy
60s. I'm pretty sure everyone was a souse.
Yeah. But Nimoy always said that like he would wait till he was done with the day and then he'd start.
Right. Well, at least he got his work done first. He was always very professional.
How do you be emotionless while you're tipsy?
Exactly. So that's why he had to wait.
That's a shame.
And so
but I do enjoy this. I do enjoy this. And again,
Scotty's volunteering to be a guinea pig here.
Yes. Again, there's no animosity. This is one of the things that when people are talking about next generation or inter-crew sort of aggression or conflict, everyone is so amicable to one another, except, okay, I guess when Scotty and McCoy are saying, you bloodless, you heartless son of a bitch, in regards to Chekhov. But now everyone's on baseline. And it's like, all right, well, then let's do it. And so this is amazing. One of my favorite practical effects in all of Star Trek is when this gas grenade happens and you can see Scotty, James doing, exhaling, and you get to see the nostril blow of the gas grenade. And it's like, did you inhale? Aye, deeply. Of course he did.
Clinton didn't.
So you believe. All right, good for you.
Yeah, and the gas, it didn't work, even though Spock knows his chemistry and Scotty knows his engineering. For whatever reason, this didn't work, because this is where Spock realizes that it's not real. Because Scotty, I guess, for some reason, didn't have faith in the gas. I don't know why he didn't have faith in something he helped with. But
maybe it was the alcohol.
No, I don't think Scotty had anything to do with it. He actually was anticipatory of saying, it's like, am I going to be with you guys at 5? And they said, yep.
Yeah, so then why doesn't it work?
Well, Physical
he
laws don't
believes in it.
apply here.
Okay.
Oh, what? Because what it? Oh, that's a good question. What if he believes it works? It was constructed by the aliens. In this case, our landing party.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Melkosians would prohibit that particular anything acquired.
Oh, maybe they saw it as cheating, and so they're like, "No, we can't have."
No,
this."
it's not a matter of cheating.
No?
It's just that the game
Well,
is
then-
stacked against them. The only
Um,
thing they have upon them is
Mhm.
themselves.
Yeah.
And the Spock is the, he's the savior. He's the one who actually eliminates doubt, as we will get to.
So,
But-
are you saying the Melkosians won't allow them to use any other weapons besides the ones that were given to them?
No, not even given to them. They are only allowed to use their own philosophy as aliens. And if they are the disease, then they must prove themselves as not being the disease. And it's cooperation through a non-violent solution.
Well, that's the end of the episode. But all
I'm just saying, if I go to the bar in the Melkosian illusion and I start making up like if I made a Molotov cocktail, like they could have made a Molotov cocktail and been like, all right, all we need is a lighter, some bourbon, and a rag. And they would have thrown the Molotov cocktail at the Earps, and the Earps would have walked through it.
And so you believe that that would be the case. So that's what I'm asking you. The Melkosians won't allow any weapon other than the ones that were provided to them. In terms of even the ones that provided to them, you're saying would not work on the Earths.
Right.
They're
That's what
destined to
yes.
die either way.
So yeah,
They
this
are-
is different than the Metrons, where the Metrons provided the tools to create a weapon, but the Melkosians are providing the weapons themselves.
And the Metrons would have allowed
Right.
Kirk and the Gorn to kill each other. But here only Kirk and the crew are in danger, really, because the rest of the cast are not real.
Not even Sylvia.
No, Chekhov believed in her.
She wasn't real.
No.
Yeah, although this is a pretty gaping plot hole that is kind of hard to nerd splain out of.
Well, we just
Ooh.
did think, didn't we?
We
No?
did.
It is, yeah, but
It's subjective.
because then did Scotty feel the effects of the alcohol he drank? Why did Chekhov die? But if Scotty would have felt
Right.
the effects of the alcohol, then those other chemicals should have worked too.
Inhibitors, though. Inhibitors to the success of the aliens who are the diseased, who must be destroyed.
Yeah, I accept the explanation. We had to take a long road to get there.
He had to.
It's been a long road getting from there to here.
Look, Scotty believes in the alcohol more than he believed in the gas. No, but the gas was a weapon, so the gas couldn't work.
When it comes to Scotty's belief in alcohol, I think it's higher than Jesus. Much like mine, and I'm a
But
Scotty.
you're right. It doesn't make sense why Chekhov died, because at the end they say the only thing that Chekhov believed in was the girl, so he shouldn't have died. So you're right about that. That was weird.
I don't know. I think that he should have died because he was told by his crewmates
That he died.
the guns are deadly. And so don't go nuts, don't go crazy. And then as soon as someone shot him, he responded the way that he, in his own mind, would know. He's a human.
Then
He
how
would
did
know
he
the
survive
history of
then?
firearms.
If he should have died, then how did he survive?
Well, that's a good question. That's a very good question, because if everybody died, let's say the Earps show up at the OK Corral right here at this disco ball, and they get shot.
Killed.
They all get shot. Do they get sent back to the Enterprise and be told, on your way, we have means to defeat you, say the Melkosians? Were they ever in danger is a good question. If Chekhov doesn't die, was anyone going to?
Was it just a big warning, like a bigger warning than the last warning? Is what you're
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Hmm,
Hey, DJ Ronnie G is here.
that's a good question. DJ Ronnie G says, I've got faith.
Is it of the heart?
Season 3 is going to be a long road.
But I've got faith.
Well, be reviewing it for a long time.
It depends on what the definition of is. I like that. That was great.
Wes Cagle says, speaks to why the country ended up where it was at the end of his term. Sorry, I'll can the political commentary for now. Oh, okay. Yes, definitely do that.
Are we talking about Jimmy Carter?
Oh, no. Darius is referencing Obama. I inhaled frequently. That was the point.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Robot Jocks? And it's about giant robots, and there's a guy named Achilles. It's got Admiral Saval in it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I like it. I think I'm really happy with it. But whenever anybody says Achilles in that movie, and they say it a lot,
and I
always imagine they're like Obama, and so it's kind of fun for me.
That movie
That's
sat
what
on
I
the
imagine.
shelves. That movie actually sat on the shelves for several years after it was made. I bought a bootleg copy at a Star Trek convention, and it was finally a distributor didn't buy it until a great many years after it was actually made, before it came out direct to video.
I like it. It's a good movie. It's schlock.
It is a good movie. Very underrated. Very underrated.
Anyway,
I have
if you
not
want to
seen
hear
it.
all about it next week on our new podcast, Robo Jocks.
So Franco Walker says, I think it was all a test to see how quickly they were to turn to killing.
Yeah, I agree.
And Wes Cagle also says, this always seems strange to me. In most tellings of this story, the OK Corral, the Earps are the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
But here they're depicted more as the bad guys, which is, this is the perspective of the sheriff.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Who is friends with the Clantons.
It makes sense, though, because the Melkotians, if they are the ones creating this fantasy, they would be the good guys. And the interlopers would be the Clantons, as per the gunfight at the OK Corral. And it is the law enforcement's job to get rid of the criminal element that is invading their particular town. So it makes sense. As far as I know. I don't know. I could be drunk.
No, you're fine. You're not drunk. You're correct.
Not yet.
And Spock has some good lines here. I really like everything he says in terms of everyone realizing that this is not reality. So this is the part of the episode where I realized, oh, this is the Matrix. But before the Matrix. And so if everyone realizes the situation is not real, they will not die, and so they have, even just the smallest doubt will kill them. So they need a mind meld in order to not have any doubt that the bullets are not real.
Now, this is something that I think carries through. We've spoken a couple times about things that carry through to the movies. And when Kirk does say Vulcan mind meld, because Spock says there can be no doubt, if the slightest doubt will kill you. And so Kirk orders the Vulcan mind meld. And first person he goes to is Scotty. And Scotty's like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I want to be a part of this. And the mind meld with Scotty through the performance of James Doohan is Like, I don't think that he's 100%. I think he's amicable to work with Vulcans, but I don't think he wants to have a mind meld. And the reason I bring this up is not to highlight a prejudice from Montgomery Scott, but to say that the next time you directly see Scotty interacting with Vulcan culture, mysticism, what have you, is on Mount Seleia for the resurrection of Spock in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. And he is just as cautiously quizzical of the situation that is happening around him. He doesn't know what's going on. Like, the acting, and again, like, this is a beautiful scene in terms of direction, art direction, atmosphere. There's wind going on everywhere, and no one blinks. No one blinks. And then there is the mind meld with Scotty, and he's terrified. You can see it. His eyes widen slowly. And there's some crazy cool camera tricks just to see and tricks. They move the camera slightly to the right as Leonard Nimoy gets into frame, and it is visually stunning. This is like this. Like, that's not natural. Usually he's face to face, as you will see with DeForest Kelley. We have the enemies advancing towards us and all joining ranks. Then when you get DeForest Kelley and Leonard Nimoy looking face to face, doing the mind meld, they equal each other's, they say the same thing. And the only person who is really confident with this is the trust between Kirk and Spock. This is amazing in terms of just, you want to know what a mind meld is? Here you go. Sorry,
that was a beautiful. No, but that was a beautiful explanation of this really great scene in terms of how it was filmed to look surreal and different and alien, and it does all of that. And it's kind of strange the way it was shot in terms of the angles and everything. So thanks for pointing that out, all those things out.
Yeah,
and those, the Comic Relief Crusaders got to go. See you later, the Comic Relief Crusader.
Ahoy, and see you later.
Take care.
See you, comic. Yeah, Joe, I think one of the camera angles on this episode were really good, and the cinematography was great, and it really shows some creativity that the director used, given that they had such a small workspace. I mean, they were on stage for this entire episode, so they had to pull out a lot of tricks to expand the volume that they were working in, and I think they did a really good job with that.
Yeah. And Franco Walker agrees. Your assessment of all of that was wonderful. And I agreed. That's why I didn't interrupt you, because that was so good. I agree completely with Franco.
Thank you.
And or a broken holodeck. What? Oh, there's some things. I need to read these things. Hold on.
The chat? Yes, you do.
The chat. So Stone Racket says, but if the bullets weren't real and such, that means Sylvia and all her kisses weren't real. Oh, the humanity.
Chekhov's erections were real.
Those were real, yeah.
Don't say it so, like, do you have a thing for Chekhov, Jill?
What?
Like, if Chekhov, let's say Pavel Chekhov asked you out on a date, would you say yes? You would?
Yeah, why not? See what it's like.
Well, I can think of 2 reasons.
Well, I mean, theoretically, not in actuality.
Like, I don't, I love Walter Koenig, and good for him.
Mm-hmm.
But the hair?
Well, he's got his real hair now. He's not in the wig.
All right.
Darius says, now I'm singing.
He's kind of dumb.
Again. Is he dumb?
I think,
you know what?
I don't know. Maybe he's not. Am I besmirching the character of Chekhov?
I don't know. If you graduate Starfleet, by definition, you cannot be dumb.
I guess that's right.
Like, if he's the dumbest of Starfleet, you still got the best of the best. So you got the dumbest of Starfleet is still really smart.
Didn't Wesley eventually fail Starfleet?
Yeah.
Who did?
Wesley
Crusher.
Did he fail? Oh no, he almost did. He almost did in First Duty. He was responsible for the death of a classmate, and he almost got expelled. But the ringleader, not Tom Paris, took the fall.
Gotcha.
Well, even before that, when he had, the web finger guy that he like yells at, he doesn't get into Starfleet Academy. He doesn't actually get like a field commission. Oh yeah,
yeah, he does. He does finish. He finishes. Because I just know that he goes off into the sunset to go to another reality. So I don't know when that happens.
It's called unemployment.
Well, his mom said, make sure you dress warm.
Yeah, it's mighty cold out there in the unemployment line.
Or the picket line.
He went off to go with the Traveler. I don't know why we're talking about that at the end of the Star Trek episode.
If you can go back to the Melkoshian.
Sure.
I really enjoy the final moment where the Melkoshian does say, "Approach our planet. Our threats of protection have been rescinded," or something like that. And then there's like a bing, and it's like the greeting sound. I'm gonna make it my my notification sound as soon as I get a new phone. But it is so just lovely. Although
achievement accomplished.
Yeah, unlocked.
Oh, now. And speaking of which, I can show you that.
You got it? That's great.
I do have it today. Where is it?
Approach our planet without malice.
Oh, there was this.
Oh, that's cool.
Charles Maxwell, Rex Holman, Ron Sobel, and Sam Gilman hidden behind Bill McGovern on day 3 of filming. But Pop Culture, did you have something you wanted to say while I look for this?
No, I was just going to say I think this is one of the rare episodes where it ends with the Enterprise heading towards a planet rather than away from the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a good point. Wow.
Okay, so what Scotty's asking for, I have, so I'm looking for it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Here's the visual effects.
It does beg the question. I mean, it's like, so if a Federation vessel approaches a planet and they put you through terror, do you just say, well, thank you for that. Anyway, may we beam down?
And
I
so
appreciate your test.
I hope this is put together by the Trekkie channel. And so I am borrowing their work. Thank you very much to the Trekkie channel for creating this comparison of the remaster versus the original, which I think the original is beautiful. So,
yeah, if I was to look at that, I'd say there's no need for a remaster, but oh well.
A little bit of the special effects on the view screen were appreciated because it's usually like in the original, the Melkoshian buoy just sort of goes side to side, and I do like how it infers through the view screen that there is a little bit of maneuverability. Now, I'm not talking like Picard season 3, we can move the Enterprise like a X-wing fighter, but there is a little bit more. It's not just left and right. I did like that. And also because once we get to season 3, there are a lot of more close-ups on the secondary hull as opposed to the saucer section of the original Enterprise. And instead of adding people in the windows alongside, they just show the windows the same way that the windows would have always been. So they don't, again, when it comes to the remasters of the original series, they don't do anything that is distracting. It is always of the same amount of time in the episode, and it never distracts from the story that is being told to say, hey, we have new special effects. So I do like that.
Okay, so Darius says that I have the hots for Chekhov because I would go on a date with. I would, but I would
Sounds
prefer
like it.
Spock. But I would prefer Leonard Nimoy, honestly. But
Just don't expect any action in the end.
Only every 7 years.
Right.
Right. I gotta wait. I'm willing to wait.
Yeah, but you could get a mind meld, and he could express his love.
Ooh.
So if anything, I would say in the new effects you get more detail.
Yes.
I like to look, Scott. I like to look at the enhanced, the remastered effects, as in they do it in a way that I would consider that the original special effects artists would have done it had they had more time and a better budget. I mean, they kind of make it seem like that. Like they don't go overboard. They pay ultimate respect to the designers of these things, like, that buoy or whatever that is. It's in a very similar shape, and they don't go over the top with it. And I'm perfectly fine with them because they do it with the utmost respect. And I think had the original people had more time and money, they would have come up with something very close to what we see now.
I agree.
I think so too. I like this.
Same shot.
Lieutenant Uhura, advise Dr.
Let's see what else we have here. Oh, and then this is the planet.
Yes. Well, and that's sort of at the end when the Melkoshian says, please come in peace. Like the flash, and I don't know if this is 100% sure, but when that flash happens, it happens within the screen. But because the story has established that the communication with the Melkoshians and the crew of the Enterprise is telepathic, it extends past the screen. And it was like, yeah, no, that works. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Darius says my girlfriend has never seen Enterprise, so she just hears me break into singing Faith of the Heart randomly every Tuesday when I listen to the show at work.
I can touch the sky.
That is amazing.
And I'm not gonna down. Now I'm not gonna bing the boo, cause I got bacula.
Yes. Hello, Lady Munchausen. I hope you enjoyed the singing. Herc 130 says, if a Federation vessel approaches a planet at 3,000 miles per hour,
oh my god,
and a train leaves Chicago at 25 miles per hour, which will arrive in DC first?
They both end up at the restaurant at the end of the galaxy at approximately 3 p.m.
It depends on
at the end of the
context.
galaxy or the end of the universe. Did I mess that up?
Oh, the galaxy. Oh no, wait, the restaurant at the end of the universe.
I did mess it up. Okay,
that's okay. I was trying to do math, and it's like, wait, I don't have any reference point for where the Enterprise is right now. I can't do it. Spock can mind meld with you and know all your kinks, even everything you like, how far you want to go. That's hot. It would be logical to give you maximum pleasure.
That's how you get Amanda.
Yep, definitely. That's perfect. I was always jealous of Jill Ireland.
Jill Ireland was I was talking about Amanda Sarek's
Amanda. I know.
Oh,
but
and when you Joey, when you mentioned Jill Ireland, you mean because of David McCallum, not because of Charles Bronson? Is that correct?
I thought it was because of the spores.
No, yeah, it was because of the spores. But if you're talking real life, yes, I do like.
Okay.
I did also like David McCallum.
What's wrong with Charles Bronson? You don't like mustaches?
I don't know. I kind of like.
He's a muscular man with a mustache. What's wrong?
I like. Warm.
You like warm. You don't think mustaches are warm, Jill? All right, I'll drop it.
Not for me.
Fair enough. Then I'm going to have to shave my mustache.
Anyway, look, this thing is going to explode.
Which is great.
Yeah. I think both the effects were good for that one.
Yeah.
Then we have what you wanted, finally.
The bing.
Bing. Bing.
Do we have the machine with the bing?
Is this the way of your kind?
It is. Choice. We prefer the ways of peaceful contact. I speak for a vast alliance.
See, this is how you get a copyright claim.
I know.
In the enhanced version, they removed a lot of the stars.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. A lot less of them. The Starfield.
I love that. Can you play it again?
Yeah.
Warming threats are over.
See, and that's what I mean. Okay, so
achievement
but that's what
accomplished,
I mean.
right?
No, but like in the original, it is within the special effects square of the view screen, and in the remaster, it extends beyond the view screen, which, because it's a psychic connection, I thought that was, appropriate and totes awesome.
I didn't even pick that up.
Or it could be I'm a crazy person. Don't worry about it, Sean.
No, it's a good catch.
And so, hey guys, what do you review this? What grade do you give this episode?
Who talks first?
Pop culture curator.
I'd give it a B+. I liked it. It reminds me, I like the dreamlike quality of the episode. For being 25% less in budget, they did really good getting around that with the limitations. I think it was great on the supporting cast. When it comes to hiring, it's like they said, now we need people who also look like bad guys. They're not just bad guys, but they need to look like bad guys. And they did good there. It reminds me a lot of Salvador Dali. A lot of the surrealism, which I thought was really cool, because they don't really say that outright, but it's implied. Especially the clock hanging in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the episode. It was good to see Chekhov get a little bit more role. It's sad that Sulu got less of a role, because I like both characters. I like to see them treated equally. But overall, I like the episode. And I would say it's far from being the worst episode of season 3. But thank you for having me, Jill, and thank you everybody in the chat.
Oh yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that lovely review. Oh my gosh. Darius says something in the chat. I don't know if I want to say, but yes.
Can I say it?
Yes. Fine.
Are you gonna highlight it, or do I have to find it? Darius Munchausen in the chat says, what if Spock mind melded with you during? He could find your G-spot. Lickety split.
Sure could. Anyway.
Well, and this is a conversation that I've had about Ponfar. Like, yeah, they may only have, like, Vulcans may only have physical love once every 7 years, but that doesn't mean that there isn't intellectual and emotional intimacy throughout your time.
That is possible.
I think that's, and yeah, I think that's
especially when Vulcan is with someone who requires more. Anyway, what do you rate this episode?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
A+. This is an A+. Probably with all the pluses. I love this episode for its direction. I love it for its music. I love it for the performances, not only from the guest stars, but also from the main players. Because again, I think that James Doohan maintains his sort of skepticism for Vulcan mysticism. I think that there are beautiful moments between Spock and McCoy. It's like McCoy says, I'm surprised these ingredients have never been used in this manner before. And Spock says, well, they might have, Doctor, had they been, if they only had your ingenuity. And there's a pause that DeForest Kelley makes, and it's completely within character. It's like, I can't believe that guy just gave me a compliment. That's great. But he doesn't say anything about it because it's still Spock and McCoy. Chekhov being acknowledged as being sort of a protege of Spock, which is established in season 2. Like everything, this is one of those, like who are we missing? Sulu. The only person we're missing in this, if Sulu was even just at the helm for the beginning and the end of the episode, I would have been like, it's an all hands on deck, A+++. This is, oh my God, it is representative of the television era that it was made with the popularity of Westerns. I think that it is an adventure, and also the philosophy of Star Trek is there. I won't kill them. And I know that that's sort of an arena ripoff, but come on, how many other times have we ripped off stories from Star Trek in Star Trek so far? But I love this episode so much, and I was so excited to see it. And when I found out that it was the first in production for season 3, I was like, you know what? Maybe season 3 isn't going to be that bad. So yeah, no, this is incredible. I love it.
Well, another thing that was different too is during the episode, they never cut back to the Enterprise to show the Enterprise searching for them. So we never found out who was running the Enterprise, which would have been
exactly
Sulu.
what I was going to say.
No,
that's okay.
Sorry.
No, but great minds think alike.
It wouldn't have been Sulu because Sulu wasn't in this episode.
Yeah,
which means it would have been Uhura.
Yeah,
that's also what I was going to say.
Oops, sorry.
No,
I'm ripping off all the good stuff.
Don't
Shut up,
sorry for being awesome.
No, but I do.
That's exactly what I want to believe, that it was Uhura in that seat, because that's like who's logically supposed to be there.
Yes.
Or it could have been Lieutenant DeSalle.
It could have been Eddie Paskey. Mr. Leslie's in charge.
And Franco Walker agrees. It would have been Uhura.
Yeah.
Great review, Scotty. Thank you so much. Sean Carter, what do you give this episode?
Well, when I voted, when I came in, I gave it a B+ or the B range. I'm bumping that up to an A.
Yay!
Yeah, it just, for a lot of the reasons that Scotty, you were saying, I mean, it's representative of its time. And then as I'm thinking back on the episode, this could have gone really bad. This episode could have been campy and silly. And they were very wise in making it that surreal, spooky kind of weirdness angle to it, with the camera angles and the directions and the way the actors were. I mean, the Earps were. I loved at the end, when they're just staring blankly off screen and they're kind of going like robots into the fight, and the whole thing is just good, and it's not the greatest episode of Star Trek. Like a lot of people say, it's not on their top even 15 episodes, but it's one of the most memorable. Like when I'm watching this, I'm like, you know what? I really remember seeing this one as a young guy, and even though it wasn't my favorite, it stuck in my memory. And there's reasons for that. Now, as an adult, I can see them, and for all those things Scotty were saying, and the little additions I had, this one gets an A from me.
It's funny because I was reading in my research, and I don't remember the name of the publication, but I know it was a Christian publication. Said that this was the top 9. This is the 9th best episode of Star Trek, and so if you're
that's a little high. Wow.
Well, what was it? The AV Club said that this was the 10th best of the 3rd season or something.
Yeah, I'll give it a top of the 3rd season, but not top of all Star Trek. There's still a couple little plot holes. Like, if they could read their mind, did they need to test them? Like they should have known that the humans are a peaceful lot. They wouldn't have had to go through that test. So there's a couple tiny little things in there that just give it a tiny bit of a smudge.
Mm-hmm.
But I
agree. There are some strange things, like how the whole thing with Chekhov dying and all that is a little strange. I give this episode a B. A B. Do I want to give it a B plus? Maybe I'll give it a plus or B. I'm in between B and B plus. I think like maybe an 86.
a B4.
So I'm so glad that even though Gene Kuhn is not as hands-on as I would want him to be, at least he's still around writing stuff for the show. And so we get a really cool idea like this. We've gotten telepathic aliens before, but this one they did make it different enough. And so it was good to get a slightly different twist on that. And it kind of, I feel it's a bit of a twist on the cage delusions or the aliens from Catspaw. And it also feels like a preliminary ideas for the Matrix. Since instead of there is no spoon, there is no bullet.
What would have bumped this to an A for you, Jill?
I enjoyed Gene Kuhn's original idea of the aliens thinking that the Enterprise are diseased because of the historical documents from Earth that they had studied, and so that's the reason why they put them on trial and sentenced them to death. But how to spin that so that we still get everything else the same in terms of, I did like the fact that the planet was not precisely exactly like Tombstone. It was Captain Kirk's memories of it. And I still want that element. I want both. I'm not sure how to have both yet. I'd have to rewrite it, but I want both of those.
Yeah, it's the second time they've gone into Kirk's brain to get some memories out with the Savage Curtain and now this.
Yeah, and this is also another time where the existence of observable objects are affected by thought. Because in Shore Leave, of course, we have people who can think things into robots, and these are thinking things into some kind of illusion.
Well, it kind of reminds me of what's that episode where Picard turns into Cayman? Inner Light. Because at the end of the episode, McCoy is inexplicably doing like a tricorder scan of Chekhov, and it's like, how did I get here, Captain? And it's like, well, we don't even know how McCoy and Kirk got here, really. Apparently they didn't kill anybody and they just got sent back, and some of them are in the middle of their jobs. We don't know what happened. And Kirk says, after Chekhov inquires, where have I been, Captain? And Kirk is like, apparently here the whole time. So does that mean everybody was there? Is Uhura looking and being like, you guys are acting weird, but you've been here the whole time? No, they went to the transporter. What? They went to the transporter.
Yeah, no, they transported to the planet. So they weren't on the planet they weren't on the ship the whole time. But that's right. A funny idea though, if that were true. But no, that's not.
So I don't understand.
Me neither. And that's why I don't quite give it an A, because there's some weird things that I can't.
Well, you know what?
I can't.
Based on that interaction, I'm with Gorilla's random thoughts, and I give it an
F. Well, and also some of the episode for me, why I can't go all the way to an A, is that a lot of the dialogue was a little bit repetitive and sometimes draggy. It dragged for me a little bit in terms of them having things that they were saying, and they were just saying really obvious expositional kind of things. And
I like the puzzle solving though.
I did too. I do. I love the creation of the gas, but the little logical inconsistencies of how Scotty behaves, because Scotty believes the gas will work, yet the gas doesn't work on him. And if it's the Melkosian saying you can't have the gas, then I would have liked that to have been
But Spock explains it. But I do have to say that speaking of gas that is inhaled
Spock
deeply,
explains
I'll be back
something.
in. I'll be back in 1 second.
All Spock explains is that it's not reality. This is non-reality. We're not following the laws of physics or whatever he says. I don't know exactly. This is unreality. Unreal is what he
Who
said.
knows? It could have been a Melkosian holodeck for all we know. I mean, that idea hadn't even been thought of at the time.
Yeah, what is it? What is the nature of this illusion? So Scotty just says, Spock explains it and runs away. But Spock says physical reality is consistent with universal laws. Where the laws do not operate, there is no reality. All of this is unreal. And so that doesn't really help me all that much exactly with explaining why they say this should be real if you think it's real. If that's the rule, then I should see that rule unfold. But apparently there's more to the rule than that, and that's what I wanted to know. And of course, when I'm left with wanting to know more about a thing, we still have a really good episode, and that's the case for me here. And it almost feels like this belongs with season 2, but it's season 3, so this is a really good start for season 3. I like it.
So I have a quick question. Maybe you alluded to it when I was away, but you had said that Gene Coons had original idea about them being a disease and kind of being put on trial. That sounds a lot like Encounter at Farpoint. Did those writers maybe have access to this original script, or did Coons?
Because Gene Roddenberry knows all about Star Trek, so I think a lot of TOS, a lot of TOS influenced TNG very heavily. Along with Phase 2.
Okay. So in that regard, I'm kind of glad they didn't go with the trial thing in this episode, because in Farpoint,
they didn't exactly do a trial. They kind of just did the sentencing.
No, especially because of the first season of TNG was rewritten scripts from Phase 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that too. And Encounter at Farpoint was a mix between Gene Roddenberry's script and DC Fontana, and so it was a little. It was like two different stories smushed together.
A lot of echoes there.
By the way, 2 days ago was Mark Leonard's birthday.
Echoes? Is there an echo? Wait,
I don't hear one.
Oh, echoes in terms of echoes from TOS.
Oh yeah, the story. There's a lot of echoes of the storytelling in Encounter at Farpoint.
I thought you meant my stream.
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But before I get to the chat, I wanted to show our poll, because we have a poll. And so, where is it? Here it is. There's our poll. How do you rate Spectre of the Gun? We got 50% gives it an A, 38% give it a B, 6% C, and 6% D to an F rating. So that's pretty good. That's really great for season 3 episode. Let's see how the rest fare. And yeah, I'm really excited to get into season 3, and this is a good start. I'm really happy with this one. And if I didn't say hello to Jim's Landscape, this is a good time to say hello to you, Jim at Commodore Productions.
Good to see you, Jim.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a B for this episode, so I'm gonna stick with that. But it very easily could have been an A. It very easily could have been for me. Gorilla says, wait, I can only get some once every 7 years. Time for a toaster bath. A toaster bath.
The self-deletion, I think.
Oh, right. Oh, that. I was like, wait, you shouldn't do that. I was going to say, Gorilla, don't do that. Okay. No, but like Scotty was saying, there's the telepathy aspect you're missing out on. And Darius Munchausen went into great detail on why that would be really awesome.
I want to make a quick mention that I mentioned just before the stream that we had a lot of celebrity deaths this week. And two that I had
yeah.
it just came to realization was Phyllis Coates, the original Lois Lane from Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And she lived quite a long time. And also Lara Parker, who played the witch from
really?
Dark Shadows. Right.
I really like the first Superman.
Yeah, we're talking about the 50s one with George Reeves, right? She played in the original Superman versus the Mole Men.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, she had black hair, and then she was replaced by Noel Neal, who had the red hair.
Oh, wow.
But she just passed when she was up there in the years, 96.
So many. Yeah, it just keeps happening. What a year.
And she did Lois in some of the animated Superman.
Oh, so for the 90s animated series. That's
correct.
Really, that's super cool. That's really great. I really like that cartoon. That's a good one. Yeah. So Tyron says Ahura had the bridge. Great episode. A+. Rennie wants a selfie from the gym, and I didn't go. I'm in big trouble, Jill. Oh no! What? I didn't tell you not to go to the gym. I told you to go to the gym and listen to my show from the gym.
Right.
Tyron, next time you go, you take a couple different shirts and you take a few selfies and you have them in standby. You put those in the bank.
Now, one of them's got to be a Starfleet tunic,
Well, all you have to do is have some headphones, so you can take your phone and listen to the show while you work out.
Consider the show your inspiration.
Right. Next time. Darius says, I wouldn't say worst TV intro ever. There's got to be much worse. Oh, right.
They're talking about Enterprise, I think.
Enterprise. Yeah, that would be my guess too. I think Archer's theme would have been better, but at this point, I love Faith of the Heart just because it is the Enterprise theme. I can't change it at this point. It's an earworm you grow to love, even though you know it's terrible. Tyron says, Rennie and I are watching Twin Peaks at the moment, and that goes forever. Wow. Tyron's busted. I should go to the gym too. I got weights. Enterprise does appear to be on every list of worst TV intros ever. Yeah, because it's got that 90s sitcom intro.
It made it a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. Well, it took me... I was binge watching all of real Star Trek a long time ago. And, when I was in college in 2009. But when I got to Enterprise, I was just like, no. The song just turned me off, and it took a couple weeks before I was like, fine, I'll watch it.
Everybody's going to shoot me, but I hope mine was TNG because it was just a butchered version of the TMP.
Yeah.
Theme. Butchered and
if you really love the motion picture, I can understand it. Even though I love TNG, I never caught that because I love TMP after TNG for whatever reason. I'm all mixed up. Franco Walker says, so where was Chekhov between his death and when they are all back on board? I don't know. He doesn't know either. Nobody knows.
In a pattern buffer.
That's a good answer, isn't he? Really. Tyron says, I am not surprised. It was made better when they upped the tempo and percussion. Oh, and the Mirror Universe episodes were a great intro. Oh yeah, that's right. The Enterprise Mirror episode. Super cool. Because they changed the music. The music is different. And also the pictures that you see. You see more pictures of war. And so they replace the hopeful message of space exploration and getting out into the universe with pew pews. And it's like, yeah.
Pew pew bang bang.
Because it's the Mirror Universe is supposed to be violent. It's all Q retroactively. All the godlike aliens. Oh no, pop culture would hate that. Darius says, I didn't actually watch Enterprise long enough to ever see the Mirror Universe intro. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, you do. It's really great.
It is good.
Franco Walker's sticking to it. It's B plus. It's a B plus, and I'm sticking to it.
I was just disappointed that Q never called Picard Dum Dum.
Well, at least Q never caused there to be any kind of forced situational moments of just like, I think that character from the Flintstones was way worse than Q. I don't
Yeah.
Similarity.
Well, that's when they were jumping the shark, right? They were the ratings were sinking.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to ask. That was a Flintstones reference, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mentioned it before. That's where I always thought Q was a
Gazoo.
Direct, yeah, Gazoo, a direct rip-off of Gazoo. Even the snapping of the fingers.
Yeah, that's true.
The voice, actually. I thought about putting a video together, even comparing the voice. Harvey Korman as Gazoo and John Delancey as Q. The voice is even similar.
Well, they are both really arrogant, so I guess I understand that aspect of it. That does kind of work in terms of that, but
and the way they talk to the main character, like the way Gazoo talks to Fred Flintstone and the way Q talks to Picard. That's why I was always waiting for him to say "dum dum." I was surprised he didn't.
But narratively, I believe that TNG was writing much better. The writing was much better.
Well, at least Q didn't come out of a little flying saucer, I guess. I give him credit for that.
Yeah. What does a godlike being need with Starship? Darius said, I love Twin Peaks to Tyron. Lady Munchausen got me into it early last year, and I was hooked. I even like The Return, but it's not for everybody. I still haven't seen these shows. I got so much stuff on my watch list. And Scotty R37 isn't here, but if you want to see more of him, check him out on Twitter at Scotty R37. There's LDG. It's funny that worst TV intro immediately makes everybody think of Enterprise. And so, Tyron, next time you go work out, there will be the anti-derivative workout next Tuesday. Tyron says, we have just about finished the second season, and he loves it. That's great. Wow. Captain Fandom Nerd says, Faith of the Heart, that song sucked.
I won't argue that. But I've only heard it once.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, there we go. That was our review for. Oh, there was one clip that I meant to play earlier. Let me see where it was. It was just one more thing that I had. Oh, you know what? I never read from my 365 because I forgot to put it in my notes. And anytime I forget to put it in my notes, I forget to read it. So let's read it. We've got, by the time DeForest Kelley appeared in Spectre of the Gun, he must have known the OK Corral saga very well. The episode represented his third theatrical visit to Tombstone. He had played like Clanton in the 1953 episode of the documentary series You Are There. Oh yeah, I did get that though. Narrated by respected newscaster Walter Cronkite. And he had played Morgan Earp in Gunfight at the OK Corral, co-starring Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, and Dennis Hopper. Those performances set him on both sides of the famous rivalry, but this time he crossed over again to become a member of the Clanton gang, playing Tom McLaury, one of the 3 gunfighters killed during the 1881 shootout. And so here's another thing that was in the book. The Earp brothers are famous today, but unlike a number of their contemporaries in the Wild West era, they weren't legends in their own time. Men like Buffalo Bill, Cody, Wild Bill, Hickok, and Bat Masterson actually saw fictionalized stories about their exploits in dime novels written by authors such as Ned Buntline. Alas, other than in local papers, the Earps didn't live to see their names in print. Decades after his battle with the Clayton gang, Wyatt Earp settled in Los Angeles, where he found himself drawn to the burgeoning motion picture industry. He developed friendships with famous cowboy actors Tom Mix and William S. Hart.
Yeah, Tom Mix was the John Wayne of the day.
Oh, wow. Both of whom were fascinated by tales of his real-life exploits. Yet, in spite of his showbiz contacts, Wyatt's exploits remained unsung until 2 years after his death, when author Stuart N. Lake published a biographical novel titled Wyatt Earp, Frontier Marshal. After the novel was serialized in the Saturday Evening Post, the Earp name at last caught fire in the American imagination. In 1934, the novel was made into a movie titled Frontier Marshal, but inexplicably, the name of the lead character was changed to Michael Wyatt. A few years later, a new version of the novel was made with Randolph Scott portraying the appropriately named Wyatt Earp. Since then, the number of books, movies, and television episodes based on Earp's life have blossomed well beyond any expectations Wyatt once may have had, lending truth to the self-fulfilling message embedded in the theme song of the life, legend of Wyatt Earp, a Desilu-produced television series of the 1950s. And that's long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. And yeah, and that it is. And here's the last thing in the book that I didn't get to. The red sky and skimpy facades constituting the Spectre of the gun set decoration weren't created because the producers wanted viewers to remember that they were watching an illusion, or because that they were worried that the viewing audience, predominantly science fiction fans, wouldn't watch something that looked too much like a Western. No, once again, the devil's in the details was the same one the producers had wrestled with from the very beginning: budget. The script, originally called The Last Gunfight, had been sitting on the corner of someone's desk since its submission early in the first season. But traveling to a rented Western town location was deemed too costly. At the last minute, just before production began on the third season, Robert Justman and director Vincent McVitie agreed that pared down, inexpensive false fronts built entirely on one soundstage would serve the story. They turned, as usual, to the amazingly talented Matt Jeffries, and the result, a work of true surrealistic beauty, serves as a fine example of less is more. And I want to thank Stone Racket for the $5 super sticker of
Nice.
of a little fox dog saying good job.
Very cool. Thank you.
And so I'll find you a video to play for you, since I don't have this happening automatically. I've got to.
Absolutely smashing.
I got to pick them hand picked.
That's an appropriate one too, so that's a good one.
Right? I love it. I do love this chat when I can be here, says Tyron. Me too. I'm so glad you're here.
Hey, Jill, I have a suggestion for one of your chat reaction things. If you're going to do Star Trek, the one from Wolf in the Fold, when Scotty's pounding on the table, he's like, "You don't have to tell us, good Scotsman, how to cheer," or something like that.
Oh yeah, I actually have that clip, so I could play it. Oh man, yeah, that's a good idea.
You still have it, or is that one of the ones that disappeared?
Oh, it's one. Well, because I'm only allowed 100. I'm only allowed 100 videos. I don't have it on here.
I think I have a total of like 3 on mine.
and there's got to be a good one in Mud's Women. Not Mud's Women. I Mud.
Oh, the comedy episode.
Yeah, at the end when they're like cheering and they're doing their little act in front of the androids. I think they do some clapping or something in there. Sorry, I just went off a tangent. I started thinking of all these.
No, that's a good idea. No, that's a good idea. I have that clip somewhere.
No, that reminds me. I have a question. This is for everybody. I just heard this week, because I had never heard it before, but I just heard this week that they had planned on bringing back Harry Mudd for Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. That he was supposed to be at the very end, that he was supposed to give a speech that exonerated Captain Kirk. Have you guys heard that before? Because I had never heard of that.
Never.
Exonerates Captain Kirk?
Right. Which helped them, demote him down to captain. At the end, after they stayed with the whales and all that. And I was like, that was out of left field. That's what I was thinking. What? I had never heard of that.
Never heard
so there was something missing?
Well,
there was a missing scene?
No, it was never filmed. But this channel that I was watching, they were talking about the TOS movies. And they said that was in the original script, and I had never heard of that before. And I was wondering if you guys had heard that.
No, I haven't heard that at all. That would help.
And I don't know if Roger C. Karma was still alive at the time. I'm checking now.
Wow. Yeah, I have all these videos.
He died in 86. He died in 86, so that's very close.
Let's see. I
think they were still filming it in 86. Or they might have been in post, because they do a tribute to the Challenger, and that was 86.
Yes.
He probably wouldn't have been too healthy.
No, probably not.
Let's see. I want to see if I have my videos. Where do I keep them? I probably shouldn't be looking for my videos right now. iMud is right here. No videos there. So I'll look later. I have those somewhere.
Kill him any way you can. It's your right. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay, that reminds me. I did have one more thing to play that I didn't play earlier.
Scotty's back.
Yeah, Scotty's
back again. Scotty's back. Tell a friend.
And so it says to play the video at 5:06. So I want to see why I wanted to play it at 5:06. I don't remember what this is. But I need to share the video.
Delightful.
Oh, shoot. I don't have to go yet, but that's a warning.
No, I know.
In the third season, our production budget had been significantly reduced. Since we didn't have a lot of money to create a complex set, producer Fred Freiberger and Bob Justman came up with a plan to make Spectre the gun work. Together with scenic designer Matt Jeffries, they created a surrealistic yet inexpensive set. It ended up working very well. It was a reflection of the fragments of human memory, and at the same time, a solution to our money problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We know that, Shatner. I wanted to go to here.
Right, we know that, Bill. Come on, Bill. Come up with something new.
Jill,
Thanks,
Jill, before you get there, I do need to get going. It's I need to get back to work.
Okay.
Well, good luck, Sean.
Man, thank you so much for being here, Sean Carter. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
You are a gentleman.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a great time. Thank you for the invite, and I would love to come back on another. Even if it's
and the children should lead. Oh, Spock's brain. This way to Eden.
I like those because I like finding the little things in those campy bad episodes. There's still some good sci-fi there. There's still some cool things to talk about, no matter how bad the episode is.
All right.
And I like finding those things with other folks.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, and I'll be listening to you tonight, Pop. I'll be working late again, but I'll be listening in on my earbuds.
Well, I'll give you an A+ for work ethic, sir.
Appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. The channel, everyone knows, the Sci-Fi Model Guy. I've got a bunch of stuff recorded for the Jupiter 2, which I'm working on for Pop Culture Curator.
That's so exciting. It looks excellent.
Yeah, it's a lot of work though. This thing is like one of the most detailed models I've ever done. So I'm just taking my time trying to do it right. And the Constellation, which I'm going to be uploading the final reveal for that in a few days. That one, it took me like 2.5 days to do that. It
looks amazing. I saw that. I was watching the video. It looks amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, wait till the final reveal. It looks really good. That was a lot of fun to build. It was very quick. Compared to the Jupiter 2 was child's play. But I did that because I needed to get some content. And speaking of that, I am at 494 subscribers right now, I believe.
All right.
6 more.
Well deserved.
Monetization.
So you hear that, everybody. Check out Sean's channel, the Sci-Fi Model Guy. Fantastic and amazing work.
Thank you. Yeah, I need 6 more. I'm really looking forward to it. I got some cool stuff planned for when we pass that. But the big one is going to be 1,000.
Definitely, because that'll be you'll have the ad revenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't see of a way of getting much monetization before that, but
maybe you get it at 500 now.
Yeah, but
but he
like
doesn't
super chats and super thanks and stuff like that, which I don't live stream. So,
I understand.
So
you still get super thanks though. Maybe someone will super.
Maybe we'll see. I might dive into a little live streaming. I've thought about doing that. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, yeah, I'm getting close. It's just a nice milestone to be so close. And I thank everyone here for promoting and joining the channel and having me on here to talk about my favorite thing, Star Trek.
Definitely.
You do amazing work, and it's always a pleasure to hear you speak.
It is really cool that you're so creative and you make so many things. And you have such immense talent, and you share some of that here with us today. Thank you.
Not to mention, it looks very fun doing that. So I'm jealous in that department as well.
Yeah, it is. It gets me into the garage. So that's always fun. All right, folks. Well, you all have a good day, and goodbye to the chat.
You too.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, Sean.
Bye.
Live long.
Bye. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and play this before I forget again.
Gunn, and I played Wyatt Earp. It was a strange situation because Rex Holman and Charlie Maxwell and I were hired to be the 3 Earp boys.
Take my bag.
And then Sam Gilman was hired to be Doc Holliday. When we read the script, at least speaking for myself, it really looked like somewhat of a dud. And when we showed up on the set and saw the stylized buildings and so on and so forth, it seemed to be even more of a dud. And the director, Vince McAveety, who was a very nice guy, he would juxtapose our positions, you know, and it was all part of the design of the show to make it more of a surrealistic fantasy kind of thing, you know, where in one cut we were walking a certain way in terms of our relationship to each other, and then the next cut, for no reason at all, we were completely reversed, which didn't make a lot of sense to us, but made a lot of sense to him, and he was right, because the show, in a very strange way, turned out to be one of the the classic Star Trek.
Captain, the most curious.
I totally agree with him.
Same here. Well, that's what happened to a lot of those actors. You know, they ended up at conventions or people pointing them out in public, hey, you were in Star Trek. So it ended up being the highlights of their career, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really great when they can get work like that. It's awesome.
Well, and also it's a thing about production when you're making a television episode or a movie or whatnot. like you are there for the days that you're there for, and they like the director or the writer or the producers, they all ask you to perform in a certain way, and you have like, all right, I am an actor, I don't know what the hell you're building, and so you're not privy to the other components of the storytelling with the other performances. And I think that that's really fascinating. Like when you hear about actors who are like, yeah, no, I was there for 3 days. It was a 100-day shoot or a 2-month shoot. It's like, all right, well, I guess I'll see it when it comes out. And then you see it and it's like, oh, that's what they were like doing. That's what they were trying for. And so when you hear actors talk about their component of a televised or a cinematic presentation, these people are just cogs in the story. They don't know the full overview. And I think it's interesting to see the final overview.
Well, when you're a regular on the show, you can kind of have a say in how your character is portrayed and what they would do and things. You can kind of not exactly write, but you can influence the writing. But when you're just a guest actor, yeah, you're just like, I do this, okay, I do that, and then we see later
Yeah.
what it is. Exactly what you said.
I pass butter, you pass butter.
And what did man? I had somebody said I would have given it an A, but then something about Cronkite. Man, where was that?
Walter Cronkite.
Walter Cronkite screwed up an episode of Star Trek? Okay.
Yeah, hold on. Just a second. I was trying to figure out where I was in the chat, and that's where I was, and I clicked off of it. Here it is.
Walter Cronkite played Wyatt Earp.
Stone Racket says, Jill, I would have given this episode an A if it had some Cronkite in it. So I gave it a B.
No Cronkite?
This is a good joke.
Yes.
No CBS News, you know.
Also, now that we are in season 3, we've pretty much dispensed of Desilu.
Yes. We're all Paramount now.
Or CBS.
CBS. Yeah, CBS.
I'm just so happy we don't have to praise Lucille Ball anymore.
She's all right.
Yeah, she's fine, I guess.
I like her. She didn't know what Star Trek was, but she sure funded it.
That's what bothers me.
There's an interview on YouTube where she says that. She says it was one of the best decisions she ever made, but of course it was complete by accident. So it was like it's a random miracle, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Happenstance. I do enjoy Lucille Ball, Desilu Studios' involvement in Star Trek, but let's not forget, like, this is, this is where they sort of lost their independence. It may be a contributing factor in terms of Gene Roddenberry's step away. Like, obviously, he was a very willful individual, and he stayed on as created by and not even executive producer.
Yes, and that was because he was upset about the show getting the death slot in terms of when it was aired on Friday at 10 p.m. when all the kids are out and I guess not watching TV.
In my research, this is the last episode that was broadcast on Friday night.
What? I thought.
Yeah.
That's.
I don't know where it went to.
What?
I thought it was moved to Friday night for the 3rd season. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it was 10 p.m.
Well, there was. I read something, and obviously I will be corrected.
What did you read?
Because I usually am. Is
read
that this
now.
was the last? Well, I don't know where it is. I lost it.
Do you remember where it was moved to from Friday to where?
That's also part of the question that I have. I don't know where it was moved to.
Because it says Star Trek was moved to Friday nights at 10 p.m., the death slot, which is what Gene fought against. He wanted it to not be the death slot, and they wouldn't change. Like he said, he made a threat. He thought he could be Captain Kirk himself and make a gamble, make a threat, and say, if I don't get a better slot, I'm not going to produce. And then when he didn't get what he wanted, he couldn't back down from that, because then they would never believe him ever again. Of course, that's how he believes. He believes he would lose all credibility with what he says. Like if he went to produce what he wanted to produce Star Trek, but he didn't want to lose credibility with the studio. So that's why he stuck with it.
As we move on through the season, I'm sure I'll discover the answer to my question. Oh, have you seen it?
No, I still haven't seen it.
Oh, it's good. There's nudity.
Oh, and Jill mentioned it on the last Star Trek stream.
I did.
Gone. Okay.
Yeah, after you were gone, I mentioned it, and so that's when he made it. When they wouldn't give him a better time slot for Star Trek, and he left.
And I wanted to clarify that Gulf and Western is what bought Desilu, and then that's when they formed the title Paramount. Because Gulf and Western doesn't sound very good, I guess.
I mean, season 3, Star Trek time slot. Like, you have to tell me where you got that information, because as far as I know, it's at 10 p.m. on Friday.
That does not compute.
Yeah.
Rick Berman gave it to me. I've got a.
Oh, Stone Racket says, so long, folks. All of us at the Kitty Cat condo send everyone here warm hugs. Keep on.
All right.
Oh,
have a great day.
Stone Racket. I'm sorry I missed you by 10 minutes.
Stone Racket, thank you again for your contribution to the show.
Right, and for all you out there, if we accidentally shout you out after you're gone, we apologize, and it's not intentional.
Yes, and Darius Munchausen says, oh wait, Tyron, all right, I must go. Great show. I had fun as always, but back to it for me. Have a good one and all. Yes, and we'll be closing the show pretty soon, too. We'll see you later, Tyron. And Darius Munchausen with a $2 super chat says,
nice. Can I say this one?
Yeah.
And that's the way it was.
And that's
for the young ones out, that was Walter Cronkite's closing line every night on the news.
Mm-hmm.
I would advise you to keep dialing on us, Mix.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So,
that's awesome.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how many copyright warnings do you think we got today?
3.
You think 3? I'm more like of a 5.
I hope not.
I hope I don't get any.
Shame on you, Paramount.
Yeah.
Well,
we're advertising your show.
Exactly.
Right.
So
we want people to buy it. We're not trying to copy it. We want people to buy it, and we're trying to showcase it for people who have not yet discovered it for new generations.
Whether I get claims or not, I don't really care, because what I'm doing here is putting on a good show celebrating Star Trek, and that's my goal, and that's what I did, and I'm happy about it.
Well, I do appreciate it, and again, this is one of my joys of the week, is just being able to revisit these episodes in a way that I haven't seen before, like in production order is amazing. And I've never seen Star Trek on a week-to-week in order to enjoy my childhood heroes. And so, Jill, I do want to thank you so very, very much for providing this. This is like amazing. And
well,
so
it's a reminder that you never have to stop talking about Star Trek. You can talk about it anytime you like.
Tell that to my Tinder dates.
Oh, well, okay, maybe not then. You got to make sure when you're on a date to find common interests.
Well, how else do I make them dress up like Vulcans?
You probably can't. If they don't like Star Trek, you're probably not going to... Until they know and love you already, you probably can't ask that.
And that's why I'm not on Tinder.
But possibly after you do find someone you do have something in common with down the line, they might do that for you.
Hey,
I don't know.
You want to be a science officer? And then they say,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there you go. Darius Munchausen says, "Why don't we have to love Lucy anymore? You can still love her. Nobody
I
said
don't
you
want to.
couldn't."
I don't want to.
It's
I was
just that
watching the
Scotty's
Lucy
not
show
going
last
to.
night. I still watch everything about Lucy.
Wow. Scotty nailed it. And Franco Walker's never heard of Walter Cronkite because he's in the UK. And speaking of the UK, hello to Dalek 451.
Hello,
Hey,
Dalek.
Dalek.
Grilla says,
You know
"You
what?
will be
Hang on a
fine. I
second.
play
Hang
more
on.
than
Hang
that
on.
the Waltons."
Can you go back to Dalek for a second?
Sure.
Dalek, you know both Pop Culture Curator and myself. A little hello would be nice.
Or you can say Jill and the rest if you'd like.
Yeah, Jill and the rest would be nice. That would also be referential to Gilligan's Island. Anyway, I don't mean
Jill
to
is the
yell,
name of
Dalek. It's good
my.
to see you.
Well, Jill is the name of my channel, so he's saying hi to the channel and the panel.
No, I want to fight him with a switchblade. Have you ever fought a Dalek with a switchblade? It wouldn't work out.
It seems like a bad idea.
It is a bad idea.
They have better weapons than switchblades.
Death Ray, Death Ray sounds a little stronger.
Never mind. I'm sorry for yelling.
There you go. He will exterminate.
True.
Anyway, that's Spectre of a Gun, and I'm just so happy that it was good. This is how every season 3 review is going to end. I was happy that was good, except when it's let's find out.
Did you see what's on next week?
Elan of Choice. Oh yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say goodbye to everybody.
Wait, don't I get to promote my channel?
Yeah. Right. That's part of the goodbye.
Okay.
And then I will play a trailer for next week's episode for Alana Troyes. So, pop culture first. Let's see.
Oh,
Here, let
tonight,
me grab you. There.
Tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time, we are covering Jurassic Park. This is Halloween, the month of Halloween, so it'll be horror movies all week long, all month long, every Tuesday, culminating in a final surprise movie for Halloween night. And I'll have Gilligan's Island tomorrow night, 2 episodes from nearing the end of season 2. And I'll have my Rumblings from the Lab back on Saturday. I'm going to do everything I can to be there, I promise. And we will be returning with Lost in Space on Monday. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it last night, but I promise I will be there next week. Thank you, Jill.
Yes, and I've got the slides ready to go, and all my notes for that. I'm happy to go back to Lost in Space.
Right, and for all you Star Trek fans out there, we get to see Andrea from What Little Girls Made Of.
Yeah, she's really beautiful.
Playing a bad guy.
Yeah, she is. A hillbilly bad guy.
A hillbilly bad guy. It's an odd episode, but yes.
Yes.
But it's got a very, very big star in it. Guest star.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. Let me get this right. Let me get the right link there. Well, there are 2 links. You have all the links.
I got nothing.
You got a few
anyway,
things.
So do I talk about me?
Yeah, talk about yourself. Yes.
Okay, so first things first, you should all go to ScottyR37 on Twitter and subscribe to me. And then also, you know what? We started doing something because I am a big fan of John Hamm. I have a man crush, and I think he is one of the best actors of the 21st century.
I heard somebody mention this week they wished that he would play the new Superman.
I think he's a better Batman, but I get where you're coming from, and I'm on board. And so, in the upcoming weeks, John Hamm is going to be on the 5th season of Fargo on the FX network.
It's finally coming back?
Yeah. And so on the Phantasmagorium show, Kat Sly Snide, we've been we reviewed Fargo, the original Ethan Coen or the Coen brothers film, Joel and Ethan. And so this week we're going to be doing the first season, and we're going to be playing through the first season.
That's a great show
of Fargo. I've never seen it before, dude.
Oh, it's a very, very good show. I wasn't sure if it was even going to come back. It's been on hiatus for so long.
I know. So we're going to go through that on Thursdays now, and that is in anticipation of the John Hamm season 5, and then we're going to keep going after that. And
well, you will not be
apparently,
disappointed, and I'll plug it because it's a very, very good series.
I'm kind of blown away that you like a modern television show.
Yeah, I was surprised too. It's actually done very well. So I think the Coens produce it, so I think that helped keep the quality.
Well, I look forward to it. I look forward to it, and you guys, Pop Culture, Anti-Derivative Jill, you guys are both, more than welcome to join us for any episodes that you feel that you want to talk about. So that's what we're doing, and then, as always, subscribe to Cinema Gulp, and Anti-Derivative Jill is where I usually hang my hat because she's my best friend on the internet and I love. So this is the best time in the world.
Very cool.
It is. It is the best time. And I had the best time today. I have such a great time every time we talk about Star Trek. I'm going to be so sad when we're done with season 3. So I'm so glad it's the beginning of the season.
Oh, yeah, but you'll be starting with For All Mankind. So
For All Mankind, yeah, I'll get to watch
the next frontier.
That's true. There's definitely something to look forward to, even though I don't want to be done with Star Trek.
I thought we were going to watch beach movies, like Annette Funicello.
Hey,
Like bingo.
Yeah,
movies are for Friday, so just give me your list.
Oh, my mistake. My mistake.
And Franco Walker says, thank you to Jill, Scotty, Pop, and Sean in chat. Yes, thank you to the chat. My chat, phenomenal, as always bringing the knowledge.
Fantastic.
And lots of fun things to talk about, lots of funny jokes, and incredible conversations, some conversations about Twin Peaks, and lots of cool stuff that you guys like.
Damn fine cup of coffee.
And Edge of Time says, see you, Franco. And Darius says, Jurassic Park is Lady Munchausen's favorite movie. I really love Jurassic Park too. It's
very
great.
Cool.
It taught me about what Unix was. And here I am today.
It's a Unix system.
John Doe says, I understand now what the antiderivative means in terms of your insignia of the integration. Integration equals antiderivative. And integration means to integrate everybody together. Why didn't I think of that? You know what? I thank you, John Doe. That is beautiful.
Well, because with you it just comes naturally, Jill. Even without realizing, you're bringing everyone together.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. It fits so perfectly.
Can I go now? Are we done?
Edge of Time. Well, yeah, I am. I am closing out the stream. I'm just reading the last.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go.
No. Wait, just a second. I'm gonna close out anyway.
All right, fine.
But why do you do that to me?
Because because I enjoy it.
Oh,
I'm difficult. I'm a rebel.
Okay. Edge of Time says Scotty still him. Do you have to run? Like, is something on fire? Like,
no.
I mean, if something's on fire, you got.
If it makes it so I can go, yes, I have.
I mean,
my
you can
dog
go anytime
is on
you want.
fire.
You don't have a dog.
No, I know. You know why? Fire.
Because he saved a bunch of people from a burning ship.
Exactly. Come on. The boat was sinking.
He was good in bad times.
He wasn't good in bed. I don't know. What?
No. John Doe says he was good in bad times at the hotel.
Bad times. I thought
Too bad he dies fast.
I was like, I've never fucked a dog. Well, wait, hang on a second. I have fucked a dog.
But there were lots
and in
of
a metaphorical sense. In a metaphorical sense, not actual factual. It's probably best if I leave.
Yeah, Gorilla's Random Thought says I even can contribute to the background. And so thanks to Wes Cagle. Oh God, yeah. No, everything's fine. And so I'm going to play the preview for the next episode.
Along
Troyes. Yeah. So we'll see you guys later. Have a great Tuesday.
I'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye, everybody.
I'm also going to play the 2 clips I didn't play earlier.
Great.
It's to kill the pain.
Where the laws do not operate, there is no reality.
We overcame our instinct for violence.
Now, the women, they're supposed to be something very special. They're supposed to drive men wild.
Swine, take back your gift. Oh, glory. These are your wedding slippers.
Our interrogation techniques are more excruciating than you are even capable of.
And I will not be given to a green pig as a bribe to stop a war.
That's another one of your problems.
Nobody speaks to me that way.
Scotty, that bomb he planted, can you dismantle it?
Not without being blown halfway across the galaxy.
This is your last chance to surrender.
Your term.
Prepare to be boarded or destroyed.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, you know, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.